1, 2, 1, 2.
Hello and welcome to the Brentwood Centre here in Essex. It is Top Tiers Fight Night and we have 7 titles on the line this evening. So we are guaranteed fireworks. I'm joined by promoter Johnny Clark, who has made tonight possible. Huge card tonight, bigger than normal.
Yeah, massive. To be fair, it started with 12 and up to the weigh-in we had 12, and then unfortunately Jermaine's opponent come in £10 overweight. So that fight's unfortunately dropped off, and I'm gutted for him, you know, as well, because in small hall, you know, you have to work full-time and boxing is part-time, and he's hopefully a fully qualified electrician next month. He's going through his tests, his final stages of his exams, and he grafted, you know, to make this show, and he got let down last minute, like literally last minute. So stay strong. I've got a title fight lined up for him in October, but I just wanted to dedicate that part to him. Yeah.
Frustrating for you as well, because you've just signed him and you've done all the work up until this point, and to drop out last second because of that.
Yeah, this is boxing though, you know, you get immune to it, you know, it still hurts, you know, and then you take the loss, you take the hit, and then you look forward and think, right, now I've got 11 fights that, you know, I have to push for and support them and make sure their fights get over the line and everything's done perfect for them. Now,
we've got 7 titles on the line this evening, 6 title fights. That's a huge card. I mean, for a small hall show, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's top tier. You know, I can't call it top tier and come in like everyone else. I believe that this prelim card, you know, it was 4 fights and then like a main event really in a 50-50 bout. So, yeah, I believe in my product. I think everyone here that's paid their money today to watch their friends fight, they deserve more title fights afterwards. So I've given 7 titles on the line, 8 50-50 fights. I think it's a perfect card.
Yeah, it definitely is. So the card's split into 2, so we've got the undercard starting now and then the main card later on. Reminder now, we are live and exclusive on DAZN YouTube, but as of 5 p.m, head over to the DAZN app where we are live from then. Let's talk about this undercard then. So the first fight of the night, we've got a pro debut against someone who's making their 100th professional outing.
I think it's brilliant. You know, you wouldn't get that on another show. And obviously on your 100th fight, you normally go for it, so it's great to see. I think there's going to be an award ceremony afterwards for him as well. And it's great, you know, you're having your debut. He got let down for a show, and I didn't like that he got let down. He's from Essex, so I said, listen, I'll help you out. My next show, you can go on it, you know, and give him a bit of media training and show him that boxing, it can be nice as well as upsetting. Like Jermaine's seen, you know, like it isn't all sunshine and rainbow sun, but we'll help you out where we can. And he gets his debut tonight in his hometown, and he gets to fight someone who's on his 100th fight. I think it's massive. Yeah,
that fight, Joe O'Brien against Robbie Chapman. Robbie Chapman's been around for so long. He's a character as well in there. It's great to have him on the show.
Yeah, he come in, he's all happy. Like I said, you can keep your fight gloves to the pair of them because it's a special occasion. And I was like, you sure? I was like, yeah, no worries. But yeah, no, it's nice to have them on, and they're always welcome back.
Yeah, and we've got some exciting prospects on this undercard. Shona Whitwell. So we've had her sister Harley on the show. Yeah. Shona's now on the show. She's 3-0 as a professional. Great to have her on, and she's so exciting as a prospect, isn't she?
Yeah, I think she's going to try and outdo Harley as well and put on a great performance. She's got a game opponent, former world champion kickboxer. It's a shame that she's second on the cards, you know, like it deserves to be more up there, but there just wasn't enough room for her. But I'm excited to see, you know what I mean? Like, she massive amateur, should have gone to the Olympics, and I followed her because of Harley, and yeah, I'm glad to have her on.
Yeah, and Jawad Ilyas, we know him well on the top tier shows. He always brings a bit of excitement, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's been a bit of bad luck with him. He had 2 50-50s drop out on him, so unfortunately he's on the prelims, but just shows you what a great card it is, someone with that calibre starting the show for us. So
yeah, it definitely does. And the final fight of the prelims, this one is exciting. It's a real sort of 50-50 one. We've got Tunde Jalele against very similar record actually in Josh Kagan.
Yeah.
3-0 against
1-0.
That is quite tough for Tunde, going against the 3-0 this early on in his career.
His debut was against a former Southern Area champion as well. And the way I am, the way I manage, the way I promote, I can't change it. You know, like I tell everyone, you have to be in 50-50s. If I sign you know, like I've got to keep that mentality as well. And I tried it with Jawad, but his opponent's dropped out. But with Tunde, the opponent was still game, so I was like, great. And listen, it's the headline of the prelims, you know, and I'm telling you now, could be fight of the night, and everyone's going to say that fight was on too early.
Yeah, that one is billed as a potential fight of the night, that's for sure. And that just goes to show the depth of the fights that we have on tonight, the fact that that is headlining the prelims so early on in the evening.
Yeah, it's great, you know. Tunde actually started my last card, you know, so he's working his way up. Obviously, the next one, he should be a bit more up the card because the opponent, if he gets through this, will be better, you know. So, no, I'm excited for them both. You know, Josh has come a long way as well, and he got here first. He settled in, and he's raring to go, and he's absolutely massive, mate. he's massive. So I'm excited. I think it'll be possibly fight of the night.
Yeah, and this show is called Persistence. We do need to talk about the name is different for every show. Yeah. Persistence. Why have you gone for that for this one?
There was two reasons. One was the headliner, Megan. She's had many fights, pulled out last minute. Even her last one fell out on fight week, and then I saved it. You know, that nearly fell out on the way in as well. So she had to stay persistent, and I messaged DAZN. You know, I was saying to them, I want my deal. And I said, oh, you're very persistent. And I said, yeah, I'm going to name the show after you. So it's kind of shots fired.
Yeah, because that main event, Megan Redstall against Maisey Courtney, that was meant to take place back in February. Yeah. We did the media day with them, and then Maisey Rose got injured, so it's been postponed. But we're finally getting it, and now it's for a bigger title, so it's more on the line now. Yeah,
listen, things are meant to happen sometimes, and if you look at that, you know, that's the biggest title, in my opinion, that's been on the show. It's WBO International, you know. Win that, next fight could be for a world title. And it all come from a little show in Brentwood.
Yeah, it is. And we're back here in Brentwood. We haven't been here for a little while. The last one was at York Hall. Yeah. This is the home of top tier, no?
Yeah, it's beautiful. You know, I just feel at home, like the bar staff. Even, you know, you get here early. I see Nigel Ben in Sainsbury's when I was buying the ice for the show. You know, it's got a feel to it, Essex, and I love being here. It's my home. I made it my home. I set it up like no one else, and listen, it's top tier.
And how has the preparations been for this one? Because obviously we saw a drop out of the fight yesterday, but in the lead up to this, how sort of stressful has this one been?
The only stress I had was Shauna Brown, her opponent, pulled out with an injury last minute, so we had to change that. Thankfully, we've got a French champion in last minute, approved by the board. It cost us a bit more money. Shauna sold the most tickets on the show as well, so that was a blessing. And all the tickets went towards the title and the opponent. So that's small hall boxing, but it isn't a stress for me as long as the fight goes ahead.
How difficult was it to actually plan what fights were going to go where on the card? Because having that many titles, it must be difficult to know who goes as co-main, who goes higher up on the card.
It is very hard. It's the most difficult thing because you never want to peak too early at a show and an anti-climax, you know. So I've always got it right, so I'm pretty confident, you know. And it is hard, like females and males, obviously different types of fights. So you try and mix them up a bit as well. But I believe I set it out well. You know, even the headline of the prelims, it's going to be an absolute war. And then you've got a Hungarian Olympian coming on to kick off the show.
In terms of fight of the night, other than that main event for the undercard, what fight's going to steal the show?
Jermaine versus Taiwo stands out for me a lot. Listen, all the title fights, I can't really put my finger on what one would be best, but the only one to fade out is to watch.
Yeah, it certainly is. A reminder, as of 5 p.m, we are live on the DAZN app, so change over once you've watched these fights, change over to the app. Talking of, obviously, your persistence in trying to get a DAZN deal, just talk us through, for people who sort of don't understand how the sort of small hall works and how broadcasting works, you know, what you're actually wanting.
Well, in small hall boxing, in the ring is covered by everyone's ticket sales. So whether it's the titles, the opponent, the referee, the judges, that's all covered by the ticket sales. And everything you see outside, the backdrops, the media, myself, the barriers, the actual ring itself, is all covered by me. Mm-hmm. So I graft in my normal job, and then I cover it, and then I get sponsors on board, who some have been with me from day one. And that's how it's done, you know. So without a deal, it's all out of my pocket.
Yeah, and people probably assume, you know, if you're televised or it's on something, then you're getting paid to do the production, but you're not. You are subsidising that yourself.
No, I'm getting skint now as well. So I gave myself a target that was end of the year. We've got 2 shows left now, so I believe I'll get it. I deserve it, and like this show now, it's better than most big arena shows, you know. I'm proud of it, and I'll give it my all. And if this show don't get signed, then I don't know what will.
Is this most titles you've had on the show? 7. I think the most we've maybe done before was 5, is it?
Yeah, this is the most.
This is the most?
Yeah, this is the most. And very high titles, WBO European, internationals, you know, and an all-African title for Thiago Moxano. So I just can't wait to see who wins then.
Do the fighters themselves feel like they're under a bit of pressure then to make a statement because they want to be the one that's pushed up higher on the card? Because they are, you know, in competition with other fighters who are willing to take the fights, take the 50-50s.
Yeah, definitely. You got to perform, you got to sell the tickets, you got to get the bigger title, the better ranking, and the better fights, the higher up the card you go. You know, you could sell free tickets, but being a British title, you'll be main event, wouldn't you? You know, but if you sell 500 tickets and you're in a decent title, you'll probably go above them. So, yeah, it's definitely pressure on their shoulders to perform, but I spoke to each side, home and away. Everyone's very confident, so every fight is a 50-50, and I think it is definitely the closest match show I've done.
Have you started planning for the next show?
Oh, yeah.
Things are getting...
Oh, yeah, October the 25th,
already?
York Hall. Obviously, depending on results on this show, the next show will hopefully be bigger titles with the winners.
And a few of the fights tonight, they're in the same sort of weight division, similar titles as well. So they'll have their eye on each other in the other fights as well, like who wins. Don't mind us.
That's all right.
But they'll have
I think he works in TV as well, doesn't he?
They'll have their eye on the other fights, the other winners as well, thinking maybe that's the potential next.
Yeah, like if you look at the Commonwealth Internationals, it's both in the same weight class. They are an eliminator as well, so you're kind of gonna, are they gonna fight next? Who knows? You know, like it's a great fight, maybe for an English Southern area, but in my opinion, if you're on here, it's because you're a good fighter, you're a good ticket seller, and you're here to win. And I'm sure each and every one will fight each other. Yeah,
an explanation on that, because they are a new title. So the Commonwealth International, there's more than one of that title that you can win in each division. So on this card, we've got 2 fights that are both for the Commonwealth International Super Middleweight, which some people, I was confused. I messaged you saying, oh, is there a mistake there? Should one of them be light heavyweight? But there is more than one in each weight division.
Yeah, and do you know what? They're a blessing. They're 8 rounds. It's a scoring referee. And what you get from them is 3 of them fights might not have happened, but because I've got the Commonwealth title on the line, they've happened.
Yeah.
You know, and it's cheaper. It's only 8 rounds, scoring referee, don't need the judges, and it ticks every box. And one fighter said, I'm not fighting him unless there's a title. I got that title, the fight's happened. I'm happy they're here. They're working wonders for small hall boxing, and it's kind of probably one of the lower belts, but then when you go on, you're going to get the Silver Commonwealth and the Full Commonwealth. You won't be moaning about the little one you just won.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a great night, so well done for putting on all those title fights. Well, let's get the boxing going. So the first fight ready, a debutant against someone who's making their 100th outing as a professional. So enjoy it, and I'll hand you over to MC Huss.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live on the DAZN YouTube channel. Welcome to the Brentwood Centre here in Essex, England, United Kingdom, for a night of championship professional boxing. Persistence, brought to you by Johnny Clark of Top Tier Boxing. And now, ladies and gentlemen, time for our first bout of the evening, scheduled for 3-minute rounds in the light heavyweight division. Please welcome to the ring, Robbie Chapman.
Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the action on DAZN as we kick-start with a light heavyweight contest. Alex Deeman and Andy Clark, your commentary team tonight, and it's a bit of a milestone for the experienced veteran Robbie Chapman, who's celebrating his 100th fight tonight, and here he comes. Looks like he's celebrating what happened in the football last night while he's at it as well. Vastly experienced. He's been in with a who's who of experienced and talented champions and would-be champions, and if you're not on it, and he's up against a debutant tonight in Joe O'Brien, if you're not on it or not quite ready, he will expose you. He won a couple back in 2024. Both of those were unbeaten novices. So just keep an eye on Robbie Chapman if he's in the mood. And on his 100th fight, I suspect he might be tonight.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent to the ring, Joe O'Brien.
Only one of these ring walks, the very first as a professional boxer for Joe O'Brien, a local man as well, making his debut tonight. Plenty of experience from the amateur ranks as well. He almost could have walked tonight, never mind ring walked. Coming from Billy Rickey just down the road as he does. It looks like he's taking it in, looks like he's quite relaxed as well. Big genuine smile. Tap on the shoulder from Simon Legg, who looks after the likes of Kakachi, and George Crotty, who's on the bill a bit later on. Debut coming up for O'Brien.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout scheduled for 4 3-minute rounds in the light heavyweight division. This bout is brought to you by Johnny Clark of Top Tier Boxing and proudly sponsored by Empire, Think Green Partners, Synergy Direct, Triple Solar, and Rival. This bout is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. Your area representatives, Richard Barber and Ben Harmsworth. Your timekeeper at the bell, Nick White. And your third man in charge of the action in the ring, referee Rocky Israel. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner, he's wearing the green and silver. His official weight of 174.8 pounds. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, his 100th professional fight, hailing from Camden, London, England, United Kingdom. Introducing the Camden caretaker, Robbie Chapman. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He is wearing the black and orange. His official weight of 171.2 pounds. And tonight, he is making his professional debut, hailing from Billericay, Essex, England, United Kingdom. Introducing Joe O'Brien.
You already know the rules. Above all, you must protect yourselves and obey my command at all times. Now touch gloves and good luck.
Good backing, good crowd here tonight for the debut of Joe O'Brien.
Seconds out,
local man.
round one.
Looking to get his career up and running against the vastly experienced Robbie Chapman. Andy Clark alongside me tonight, and Chapman reunited with Xavier Miller in the corner, Andy.
He is. I saw Zav on the way in and I asked him who he was here with, and he said Robbie Chapman. He cornered him his first few professional fights, and he got a call from him saying, could you come back and do my 100th? And you look at Chapman's record, it's really interesting. After 7 fights, he was 6-1, took a Southern Area title fight against Brad Pauls. I think when he made the decision at that point to continue in the away corner, lost that fight by stoppage and has been in the away corner since, but good fighter. He was a good amateur, well known around the London amateur scene, and congratulations to him, because when you've got that kind of ability, squaring your pride with boxing out of the away corner is not an easy thing to do.
And one of the things that he is able to do so successfully is navigate rounds, give experience to the prospects, or maybe those returning from layoffs looking to get back to championship level. He has got the ability to take them round, so much so that he's gone the distance in each of his last fights, 80 of them, spreading over 5.5 years. It's Kevin Ajako back in 2020, the last man to stop Chapman, and it took him 7 rounds. So Joe O'Brien on course for some experience tonight with Chapman.
I met Joe O'Brien for the first time at the media day a couple of weeks ago, and you could tell that he's really taking this seriously. He's trained hard, he's full-time. Amateur career with Billericay and Wickford, which is a good club. Felt like it was time to turn pro and see what he might be able to do. So he's putting everything he's got into this.
And here we are at his local boxing centre for his debut, and Johnny Clark and Top Tier have been really good at supporting fighters from the Essex region, getting them towards titles, the likes of James Ozzy Osborne, for example, but plenty of others as well. So he'll be hoping to get that kind of backing as he goes forward. He did throw a nice little right hook to the body, didn't he? Just a moment or so ago there, O'Brien. And those, over the shorter distances, not always the kind of attack that gets you any instant reward, but it's good to see young prospects looking down that particular road.
He's quite tall, he's got long arms, and what you can see from him so far is he dips his knees, drops that height quite often, and looks to fire that 1-2. Gets quite low for somebody of that height, just lost his feet a little bit there. You look at Chapman, he's well balanced, isn't he? You can tell he really is a decent, good standard fighter. I wonder whether Team O'Brien knew this was going to be his 100th fight when they took it, because I think you're right, I think it could play a part.
First professional round under the belt then for Joe O'Brien. I think he went about that in the right way, Andy, because, you know, he got on the front foot, using body shots to try and put Chapman in his place. And, you know, if Chapman's in the mood, it could easily get out of hand. And I think O'Brien kind of diffused that right away.
He was nice and busy, wasn't he, from the beginning, and tried to keep himself as compact as he could. Wasn't looking to give anything away, and that's, as you say, what you need to do, because if you're not quite on it, or if you're looking to be a little bit too flash, those are the things that a good away corner fighter will exploit, aren't they? Because if they see that you're just not really there standard-wise, then they'll fancy giving it a go. If they feel like you're maybe a bit too big for your boots, often they will fancy giving it a go. But O'Brien, neither of those two things in that opening round.
It often seems to go one of two ways with debutants, doesn't it? It can so often be a million miles an hour. We're going to see Jawad Elias a bit later on. He's coming up next. Good prospect, 2-0. He's looked pretty relaxed so far early on in his career, but yeah, he can be fifth gear right from the start sometimes with the debutants, but relatively composed O'Brien, measured, but enough sort of front foot positivity to get himself ahead on the scorecards and a platform to push forward in the second round. A couple of times he's looked to land that left hook, hasn't he, O'Brien? And the Chapman just leaning back. He's defending it well, Chapman, but he is using sort of body angles to avoid the shots. There he goes again. Just a slight sway of the shoulders, tilting of the head, and he's making sure he's getting himself out of danger. Big fan of Roy Jones Jr. O'Brien would have him down as his sort of light heavyweight flagship fighter, one he'd be a fan of. Of course, one of the best.
Can't Be Touched is always a good choice, isn't it, for ring walk music? A lot of fighters use it, and I'm always pleased to hear it. And he's going about the second round the same way that he went about the first, O'Brien, isn't he? There's nothing complicated about this. It's 1-2s mostly, jab to the body. He's not looking to be much more expansive than that. We haven't seen him put a third punch on a combination many times, if at all, in the fight so far. Good 1-2 there from Chapman. Wasn't it?
Yeah, you don't see many the away fighters throwing feints, do you? That's exactly what Chapman did, and then he followed it up, didn't he? A quick 1-2. So just a little reminder to O'Brien, he's got to be cognizant of his own sort of defences while he's trying to press on the front foot. And there he is, clipped with another little left hand, little lead left hand. So a couple of shots getting through from Chapman, and there's the reminder for O'Brien. He's got to be switched on here.
He just tucked up, didn't he, as he is there behind the shoulder, and just caught him with the left hand as he was coming forward, because he does tend to lean in a bit. There's another left hand just snuck through there too.
And some cute stuff at the end there from Chapman. Very cute stuff. All of that fight experience on this night of his centenary bout. Some clever stuff at the end. Whether it was enough to win him the round at the end, not quite sure. But he's been in with the likes of Shakam Pitters, Alex Arthur Jr. in his first couple of fights as well. Masuro, who we're going to see later on. That's a really good one. Looking forward to that. Taiwo Masuro unbeaten up against the experienced Jermaine Brown, who's difficult to budge. And looking at the weigh-in yesterday, Brown is coming to this, Andy, in really good nick. So another test for Masuro after the one we saw him in a few months ago.
Definitely is, and I sat down with those two at the media day, and they were very respectful of one another, but they know it's going to be a proper fight. Brown looks at Masuro and thinks, okay, fine, you've got some power, I can see that. I've been in with powerful fighters before. I've existed at a much higher level than you, and he sees this as a real good route for him to kind of get back up the ladder again, because he's been a good fighter for a long time. I think it's quite a bold one, but a good one to take if you're Masuro. Quite typical of Johnny Clark matches, really. Yeah, very much so. We've got a few like that on the bill tonight. Tunde Diile, who made quite an aggressive, positive debut back in May at the York Hall. He's got the returning Josh Kagan, the Welshman. So looking forward to that one. That could be a good fight for the cruiserweights later on. So there's a few tonight on the bill that are like that. They could go either way. You'd favour the prospect, but they could go either way. Here, the prospect is Joe O'Brien, who has been busy so far. He's been positive so far. He's been relaxed and measured so far. There was just a few reminders in that second round that he can be clipped, and he's got to be careful. He can't be too reckless with the experienced Robbie Chapman, who clipped him with a couple of shots, particularly the left hand. He's got his mojo up. He's got his tail up a little bit, Chapman, hasn't he? I think he has a bit. I think he fancies himself being able to catch O'Brien as he comes forward, because he's done it a couple of times in that previous round with the left hand, but he's also looking for that right uppercut. He'll just pull the weight back onto that back foot as he is there, tuck his chin in behind the shoulder, wait for him to come, and then see if he can catch him coming forward. Little shake of the head from Chapman there, because he defended the left hook to the body, or right hook to the body, was it? Actually defended it so well. A little shake of the head as if to say, nope, I know what you were doing, you didn't get me. So this high-stakes chess that boxing is playing out before your eyes, and Chapman's in the flow. That was a good jab. A good double left hand there as well from O'Brien. Just an injection of pace, a little bit of intensity, and his fans enjoyed that. George Liddard in the front row opposite us, watching this one intently, was giving a bit of advice in between rounds, so I think there must be a connection there. Liddard, British and Commonwealth middleweight champion. Yeah, well, he appeared on one of these Johnny Clark top tier shows, didn't he? Kind of loaned out by Matchroom. There's some more of the local fans enjoying that. Every sort of notable punch that's getting through from O'Brien, they are roaring their support, and yeah, that was crucial to Liddard, I think, his little jaunt on a Johnny Clark show. You know, it's one thing being on the big bills, but further down when there's hardly anyone in the crowd, compared to coming to a small hall show where, you know, you might get maybe 1,000, couple of thousand, and you can see the whites of their eyes. And I think that was crucial, really, for Liddard. That was an important stepping stone for a learning curve experience for him to go on and prove himself at British level. And here he is lending his support to another local boy. Well, he's just given us a quick wave, and I think it was great preparation for him, because he's a main event fighter now, and that's what they wanted him to be, and that was the whole point, wasn't it? And they want Jimmy Sains to be one, and they want Giorgio Bizioli to be one, and we've seen them as well, and those two are not far away from it. But Liddard is a bona fide main event headliner now. That's what they've done with him in shows since then, and the turn that he took here would have done him a lot of good, I'm sure. In between rounds, Chapman back up off his stool pretty early on, enjoying the music. He's soaking up this centenary fight as we see them touch gloves ahead of the fourth and final round. And it was O'Brien back in the third who got back to being busy enough, Andy, probably on the cards. Yeah, I'd say so. He's he's kept the work rate, the tempo pretty high.
I like that, Andy. Step in, step back. He's aware that he's thinking about it. The Chapman is looking to counter punch him and trying to get his feet in and out relatively quickly, so he's back out of distance before he can take that counter shot. So that's good to see, whether that's him feeling it, learning, or the corner picking up. Either way, it's good stuff.
He's been good and disciplined, hasn't he? Because there's usually nerves attached to a pro debut. We haven't really seen any evidence of that, and he is in with a capable operator who, if he fancies it, can give you a really rough ride for your money. But he's had a plan right from the start, then he's stuck to it, and he's never threatened to get carried away or abandon it, despite what Chapman might be up to at times.
Yeah, he's playing games with him. Chapman, a little glance out to the local fans over on the far side. He's basically gone retreating to his own corner. He's basically trying to get O'Brien to lead to commit and open himself up so that he can counter punch. They're both onto it. They both know what the other is doing or trying to do. So interesting playoff here. Nice right hand to the body. Generally, Chapman's defended those hooks pretty well. And you can see why it's so long since Chapman has been really hurt in the boxing ring. Nice little picked shots there from O'Brien. I think he's kept his head well throughout this.
He has. It's very difficult to catch Chapman clean, isn't it? He's got a good defence. He gets that guard up when he needs to. A lot of the time, as I say, he'll just tuck in that chin behind the shoulder as he is there, pull that weight onto the back foot, ride a punch. He might half get through, half connect with his head, but half of it's taken on the glove, and by the time it lands, the stinger's been taken off it. He's got all of the experience and the know-how that you need, really, to box out of the away corner.
That was a good shot from O'Brien, as it looked like he might be trapped on the ropes. It looked like he might have been a bit square, but just as Chapman came forward, he pinged a right hand counter shot. So rare chance to get him see box off the back foot, but that was quite cute. That was clever from O'Brien. Clever. Finally, after 4 rounds, he managed to clip him with a left hook, and that was because the Chapman had defended the right hand. But as any boxer should do, if you throw in combinations, you've got more chance of, if one misses, of landing with the other. And finally, it took him 4 rounds, but he finally managed to land a left hook. That was good.
You could see him kind of growing into it, I think, over the course of the 4 rounds. As I said before, I didn't really detect too much in the way of nerves, but you could definitely see him loosen up as the rounds went on. He was maybe a bit tight early on, which is to be expected, but I think that was a very worthwhile fight for him. Good choice of opponents. I did wonder whether, it being fight number 100, whether Chapman might just come out and really put his foot to the floor and go for the win, but he did what he normally does. He has a good look. If he feels like there's an opportunity, then he'll take it, but O'Brien just kept the tempo nice and high, didn't he?
Perfect, perfect. And I think O'Brien, because of his positive start, I think he maybe took that incentive away from Chapman and kind of diffused the situation before it could have got anywhere remotely out of hand. So, yeah, good stuff from both of them. Exactly kind of what we expected. But, yeah, good positive start from O'Brien to his career.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds of boxing, we go to the referee scorecard. Referee Rocky Israel scores the bout 40-36. And your winner, Joe O'Brien.
Smiles all round, really. Local fans pleased. He's not showing it yet to O'Brien, but I think when he looks back and watches the tape, he'll be pretty chuffed with that. And are they both going to get in the photo yet? I think Chapman wanted to get into the photo as well. They should do. Yeah, absolutely right. Get them in there. It's a big night for Chapman as well. Milestone achieved, and I think we got a glimpse of why he's been such a good away fighter over the years, Andy.
Absolutely, and the border controller up in the ring there, and one of them seems to be holding some kind of a plaque, a picture frame.
Yeah, I think they're going to mark the centenary with a presentation for Robbie Chapman, which is it's a typical kind of Johnny Clark gesture, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really nice thing to do, and these people need to be recognised because, as everybody knows who follows the sport,
ladies and
the
gentlemen,
role that they perform
if you could just
is
bear with me,
absolutely
please.
crucial.
Attaining 100 contests is a remarkable achievement, and this guy has done it tonight. So please put your hands together for Robbie Chapman. Robbie? And
Jen, around this way first. Just at the top of the tee for me. Yeah, perfect. Jen, just come across for me. Yeah, perfect. You're not going anywhere. Perfect, Jen. Thank you very much.
Joe, you only get one professional debut. You've had a successful one there. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel really good. I just wanted to dedicate this fight to my granddad, who, sadly passed away. Fought a long, hard battle and showed me what real strength is. So, rest in peace, granddad.
Well said. The shirts are for him. Come on in shots, we can see them. Was there any nerves going into tonight? Because it's a huge occasion, your professional debut.
I was a bit nervous, but I wasn't too bad really warming up. I felt strong, I felt sharp. I knew I put the work in. I've been training non-stop really since the start of the year. So all I had to go out to do tonight was go and enjoy it, which I did. I haven't boxed for a year, so I dusted the cobwebs off tonight against a strong game opponent. It don't come no tougher than Robbie. It was a good performance. I'm happy with it, and on to the next one.
Yeah, well, as we saw, he made his 100th professional outing. You know when you're going in against Robbie Chapman that you need to be on your game in order to get the job done.
Yeah, 100%, and that's why I put the work in at the gym, and I believe anyone they put in front of me, I'll beat.
How good is it to have the professional debut here in Brentwood with all your home fans here?
Yeah, it's a dream really to be fighting on live on DAZN. All my friends and family coming down. Just want to do a massive shout out to everyone that's bought a ticket. I really do appreciate everyone. Shout out to all my sponsors as well. And my beautiful fiancée, because without her, I wouldn't even be able to do this. So, yeah.
Well done. You've opened the show in style. Congratulations.
Thank you.
My name is Tunde Duile. I'm a professional boxer who couldn't get a fight. There were times I thought I'd never make my debut, but sometimes it's about the right place, the right time. In just 3 weeks, I went from no plans to selling tickets to walking out at your call live on DAZN to knocking my man out. That's called taking an opportunity right there. A lot of people wait until the timing feels perfect, until they feel ready. Sometimes you just have to jump and trust yourself on the way down, because you never know where one decision can take you. All I know now is that this is where I belong. I'm not here to take part, I'm here to take over. Top tier persistence, 12th of July, 2026, live on DAZN. Come witness chapter 2.
Commonwealth and British champion. How are you enjoying the show so far? You're here early.
Yeah, I know. We've got Shona on early. Obviously, Joe O'Brien, I used to spar him a lot as an amateur, so listen, it's good to come down to the local shows. I like what Johnny's doing here at the Brentwood Centre, and yeah, I like to come show my support.
Yeah, you've got a few stablemates on the show, haven't you?
Yeah, Shona's on next, and then we've got Maisey Rose later tonight, so I'm looking forward to it. Good night of boxing all round.
Yeah, and you've headlined a top-tier show, so do you know the atmosphere it brings and the great fights that we see?
Yeah, I boxed here before on a top tier. I think it was like my 8th fight, so yeah, listen, Johnny looked after us well, and we put on a good night then as well, so yeah, listen, I love what they're doing. You know, live on DAZN is massive for everyone involved.
How do you think the fights are going to go down with the people from your stable tonight? You know, what are you expecting from them?
Listen, Shona's looked very dangerous early on in her career. You know, she's shown power that, you know, not a lot of people in the female boxing show. So I'm excited to see what she does. You know, I think she's got a bit of a step up tonight, but listen, she works hard and she's a very talented fighter. And for Maisey, look, she's had a hard road to get to where she's got to now. She's been in some tough fights and she's on the comeback now. So she's got a tough test tonight, I think, against Megan. But listen, God willing, she gets the job done and brings that belt back to the Simsies gym. She'll be the first female on the wall in the Simsies gym, so that's massive.
Yeah, she's wanting to get that tonight. As for you, what is in the pipeline for you?
I can't say too much yet, but listen, keep your eyes peeled this week. We've got some fight news imminent, so yeah, it's going to be a good one. I can't wait to put on a show for everyone. And listen, we're not far now from a world title shot. You know, we're banging at the door, and I will get it in the next 12 months.
Yeah, because you're at the stage of your career now where the fights are getting bigger, they're getting harder, you're stepping up. How are you feeling about being at that stage of your career now? You know, you're British champion, Commonwealth champion. It's the real test now, isn't it?
I live for this. I live for the pressure. That pressure makes diamonds, you know what I mean? And I feel like fight on fight, you're going to see a better Jules Zidane. Listen, I'm stepping up every fight. You know, that's all I want. I want to test myself against the best. Anyone they put to me, I'll fight. Some people say that, they don't mean it. I will fight any man in my weight, all the way above. I don't care. I'll fight anyone. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what we got announced this week. And I look forward to seeing a lot of people there.
Yeah, we look forward to that announcement. Great to have you here. Thank you for chatting to us.
Thank
you. It's easy to focus on the negatives. One moment, 1 second, one punch can become the talking point. That's the sport we're in. One mistake, and suddenly people forget everything else. The wins, the sacrifices, the hard work. I know exactly who I lost to, one of the best. And I know exactly who I am. I'm one of the best. This sport tells you everything you need to know about yourself. Who you are when it all goes well, and who you are when it isn't. Anyone can say they want it, but eventually, you have to prove it. You'll see me prove it. I've already moved on, and every fight from here takes me one step closer to the very top. My moment is pending. Top tier's persistence. 12th of July, live on DAZN.
Welcome back to the Brentwood. Tonight's bill has been tagged persistence, and well, that would be absolutely applicable to Shona Brown, who is back in action tonight, because she was away from the ring for 5.5 years from her amateur days until she finally managed to get back. And the fighter actually she was supposed to be up against back in 2017 in the quarters of the Haringey Box Cup is actually Shona Whitwell, who won that one by walkover. Whitwell herself looking to sort of press on her career. So much water under the bridge since then, Andy, for both of these fighters, and both of them, Whitwell in her next and Shona Brown coming up a bit later on, looking to make up for lost time.
Very much so. Very much so. They're interesting characters to talk to. Shona Brown just telling me a couple of weeks ago how she's got that mentality that means that she just keeps going, believing that an opportunity will be around the corner, that you don't exactly know which twists and turns the journey will take, but that if you stick with it, you will get to where you want to get to. It's quite a common attitude with boxers, isn't it? They do subscribe to that everything happens for a reason theory. I think Shona Whitwell is the same, but I think since she's turned pro since just before that, maybe since leaving that GB setup, I think at times she's wondered what it's all about a little bit, professional boxing, not out of any sense of entitlement, but just because it is so different when you leave that kind of setup where decisions are made for you and your job is basically to train hard and give it your all. All of a sudden you've got to make lots of decisions yourself. You have to sell tickets. There's the business side of it you need to wrap your head around, and it's not an easy thing to do, is it?
No, and she's seen firsthand how tough the game can be. Her sister Harley, who's been out of the ring for 2 years or thereabouts with an ACL injury, she apparently is on her way back. So you might see Harley Whitwell in a ring sometime soon in the coming months. And Shona is such a talented amateur. Bit of needle and niggle at the weigh-in for this one. Lomax was bang up for the cup, fighting out of Spain these days, kickboxing background. But yeah, Lomax was trying to get in Whitwell's face, Andy. And boxing fans love a little bit of that.
Yeah, and this is, you know, this is a good stage. This is a good stage for fighters. And as you say, she's based in Spain, got a 3-4 record, and this is an opportunity for her to win, lose or draw, just announce herself at this kind of level, because what we know about Johnny is that if somebody comes over boxing out of that away corner, what he wants is for them to come with some confidence and come believing that they can win. And that's how you should do it when you've got a prospect you're looking to build. There has to be some kind of jeopardy, or there's just no point, is there? Quite honestly, there's no point. And making matches where your A-side fighter will win if they really perform, there's nothing wrong with that, is there?
Delicate balance between producing, learning, winning as well. And yeah, the matchmakers, the managers are trying to get a little bit of everything, bit of risk and reward, mainly reward, little bit of risk, and then learning on the job. So when it comes to the big opportunities, or the bigger opportunities as you go along, that you've learned enough to capitalize on it. And there's no doubt that's significant. You know, some will say Anthony Yard, for example, all those sort of fringe international European stroke sanctioning body fights along the way. That's fine when you're knocking out people you're better than. Have you learned enough from those experiences when you get the chance against Kovalev, Beterbiev, etc.? Have you learned enough? And I think that's a fair question to ask. Let's move on then with our next, with MC Huss.
Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for our next bout of the evening, scheduled 6 2-minute rounds in the women's super featherweight division. Please welcome to the ring, Victoria Emma Lomax.
The colourful Victoria Lomax making her way to the ring. 35-year-old fighting out of Malaga these days. She was fired up at the weigh-in yesterday, and I think she's bringing that intensity with her to the ring tonight. Plenty of fighting experience one way or another from martial arts. And now in the boxing game, she's won 3, lost the 4, never been stopped up against the experienced amateur Shona Whitwell tonight.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome her opponent to the ring, Shona Whitwell.
Shona Whitwell then making an appearance on DAZN on a Johnny Clark top-tier show. So much amateur experience to call on, and so much pedigree in that field as well. In the amateur code, she beat future professional world champions Ellie Courtney and Sandy Ryan. That's the back class and pedigree we're talking about, Andy.
Yes, exactly. She did so much with GB. I remember seeing her at the World Championships in Istanbul in 2022. It all just kind of went wrong towards the end, because I think she felt that she didn't really get the opportunity. She should have got to qualify for the Olympics. I think Amy Broadhurst coming over quite late on kind of impacted on her, and I think she left with a bit of a sour taste in her mouth, to be honest, but she's up and running as a pro now. John Ryder in the corner, as well as Reese Redmond, who she's known for a good while. Bill Moran, so she's got some... That's an experienced corner, you know, with Ryder leading it.
Big night for John Ryder as well. They've got Maisey Rose Courtney in the big one against Redstall later on our top of the bill. Let's get the introductions now with Huss.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout scheduled for 6 2-minute rounds in the women's super featherweight division. This bout is brought to you by Johnny Clark of Top Tier Boxing and proudly sponsored by Empire, Think Green Partners, Synergy Direct, Triple Solar, and Rival. This bout is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. Your area representatives, Richard Barber and Ben Harmsworth. Your timekeeper at the bell, Nick White. And your third man in charge of the action in the ring, referee Sean McAvoy. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner. She's wearing the blue and yellow. Her official weight of 133 pounds, bang on. She has a professional record of 7 fights, 4 losses, 3 wins, and one of those wins come in by way of knockout. Hailing from England, fighting out of Malaga, Spain, introducing Victoria Emma Lomax. And her opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. She's wearing the light blue with white trim. Her official weight of 131.8 pounds. She is currently undefeated with 3 wins, and 2 of those wins come in by way of knockout. Hailing from Cambridgeshire, England, United Kingdom, introducing Shona Showtime Whitwell.
Okay, this is a 6-round contest. Keep it clean all the time, keep yourself protected all the time. Touch gloves, here we go. Good luck.
Lomax absolutely jumping at the bit. She was trying to stare out Whitwell as they were making those introductions, bringing that fire and intensity that we've seen over the last 48 hours. But Whitwell, so much experience, and as you travel the world, you'd think has seen similar situations on several occasions and has the temperament to deal with this sort of occasion and this sort of opponent.
That's a big bonus, isn't it, I think, about having that extensive amateur background. You find yourself in with all sorts of opponents, and these days, of course, you can try and check. You can have a look on YouTube as to who and what you're getting exactly, but that won't always give you the answer. You have to be able to adapt, so you're not going to be fazed by whoever you find in front of you, and you're not going to be goaded into anything either, I don't think, and that's pretty important.
Left hand working early, long left hand for Whitwell, starting to work early. That sort of little half check back in her stride just to create the space, and she whipped it in a couple of times just to let Lomax know the possible pain and creativity that could be in her way tonight. What would be the key for Lomax then? Maybe at a slight sort of stylistic and technical disadvantage.
Well, she's got to try and keep that head on the move, hasn't she, and get inside that reach of Whitwell, because she's got really, really long arms, Whitwell. She's quite tall anyway, but those are, without wishing to be unkind, abnormally long arms, and that's good for a fighter because that gives you that reach, and she uses it. You see her just snap out the jab there. She's got to try and get inside that wingspan, Lomax, keep that head on the move and get up close, and when she gets there, make the most of it.
Again, you see that little check, step back, just a quarter, half a step back, create the space. She's pinged the jab, and the 1-2 working well in this opening round so far for Whitwell. And there again, every time Lomax kind of commits or slightly falls over the front foot, Whitwell's been there to punish her. Technique and the talent shining through in the opening round.
And she's got to try her best, Lomax, to make this a bit of a brawl, basically. She's got to try and draw her into a fight. I don't think she's going to be able to do it by getting to her mentally and making Whitwell see red and fight the kind of fight that she shouldn't, choose to fight the kind of fight that she shouldn't. I don't see that happening, so she's going to have to get inside that reach. She's got to try and slip that jab, get on the inside, and when she gets there, just let her hands go, because as you were saying,
10 seconds.
At the minute when she's coming forward, Whitwell can just make that little adjustment, that half step back. And when you've got those long levers as well, they're not just good for keeping things on the outside. If you catch people in mid-range, you can do some real damage.
Into the second round then. This one scheduled for 6. So many talented fighters in and around the divisions, whether it's 135 at lightweight. You've got Caroline Dubois, of course. Turkish fighter Elif Turhan suddenly been a kind of breakout performer at lightweight as well recently, Andy.
Yes, absolutely. We saw what she did to Beatrice Ferreira, and people weren't really expecting that necessarily. We knew that she had some power, but Ferreira, I just couldn't see that happening to her. I could not see that happening to her. But as you say, it's a very, very lively division.
Curse of the punchers, maybe. But they can be vulnerable themselves. Nice long levers working well again there for Whitwell, the 1-2. And again, the backhand very, very precise and accurate for her. She's managing to keep her shape and her distance. And so far, the intensity that was kind of threatened for Lomax hasn't been able to simmer or boil in any way. Kept on a long leash here by Whitwell. And it's the feet and the technique that's doing it.
And that's why I think she's maybe just slightly hesitant, because she did try and barrel away forward there and got hit crisp by 2-3 shots. And that's what's happening to her. As she kind of comes in, she tends to wade forward a bit, coming quite square, quite open. And as a result, Whitwell's not finding it too difficult to clip her. So there's not loads going on in there at the minute to encourage Lomax.
And it's a delicate balance for, you know, the talented amateurs about how quickly they're pushed, you know, opportunity and balancing the learning curve while you're winning fights and trying to move quickly. There's no doubt that Whitwell wants to do that. The good news for her is she's got an experienced team behind her. John Ryder, of course, who's been there and done it. And actually, there's loads of, particularly in the super featherweight division, there's to the body. Oh, there it goes again. Right on cue. She just hurt her with a body shot, and for the first time, Lomax backed off. She's hurt here. She's in a lot of pain. Don't think she's going to get up. That's a wicked body shot, but it was preceded by a body shot previously. It made Lomax back off, and you knew as soon as Lomax was backing off, she was in a lot of trouble.
That's a really good performance. That's a really good performance. You can see the ability that she's got, the class that she's got, and they don't need her to be fighting any more opponents of this kind of level. No disrespect to Lomax. She came here to do her thing and give it maximum effort, and she absolutely did that. But as I said, there was a big gulf between these two in terms of skill, and she was on point from the beginning. She kept it on the outside, used that jab, used that 1-2. And then that wasn't an uppercut, but it kind of was, the way she just let her come onto it and then just hit her with the left hand. And she was right above us, wasn't she, Alex? And she gave that little barely perceptible shake of the head towards the corner. You could tell that she wasn't going to get back up, and I'll be very interested to hear what they might try and do with her next, because you don't want to waste any time, do you?
No, and it's a delicate balance between getting the experience, getting the fights, but not being in too many fights where you're not necessarily learning. But then again, tonight we got a chance to see what she's all about. Fans did, and also maybe got a chance to work on a couple of things. And as the jab, the footwork, the left hand, that was all working right from the start. But then she went through the repertoire with the body shots, and it was the body shot before that sort of left hook come uppercut. That was the one that started it all, putting Lomax on the back foot. And it's rare you see body shot finishes in the women's game. Very, very rare.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official time, 1 minute and 14 seconds of round number 4. Your winner by knockout, still undefeated, Shona Showtime Whitwell.
Whitwell sparkling. And Lomax close to tears. She's frustrated and disappointed with herself, but she needn't be. She was in against a class operator tonight.
100%. There's nothing to reproach yourself for there. Absolutely not. As I said, this is a skill sport, and in Whitwell, you've got somebody who honed those skills in the toughest, most elite environment you can get, which is the GB setup up in Sheffield. And she was there for a good while, and she was there for a good while for a reason. Boxed in the World Championships, boxed in all sorts of major international competitions. As you said, it's been all around the world with boxing. Now 4-0 as a pro, and there are real possibilities there. You look at her physically, and she's one of those fighters who, she's so slim and tall. There's always that slight air of fragility about fighters like that, male and female, but you look at the attributes that it brings to her, that reach and the way that she's able to use it. The fundamentals are good, aren't they?
Very, very. You didn't necessarily see that stoppage coming as it did, and that is a good sign. So she'll be bubbling right now. Let's get some reaction. She's speaking to Ali.
So your third stoppage win in a row. Just sum up how you're feeling after that.
Yeah, pretty happy with that performance. Obviously, this was a step up from previous opponents, so we knew she was game, we knew she was tough, we knew she was going to look for the overhands, so we just had to be careful, stay clear of it, and I weren't looking for the stoppage, so it just come at the perfect time.
Yeah, it was a bit intense yesterday at the face-off and before the fight just then, so you knew she was here to try and win.
Yeah, I had a lot of messages yesterday saying, I don't know why you weren't smiling, but no, it's all serious. Obviously, she's a game opponent, so I knew that was coming, but it's first face-off, stuff like that, so it's something I've got to get used to. So, yeah.
Well, let's bring in John Maisey, coach. Come in. How proud are you? Third stoppage in a row.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, not bad for someone that couldn't punch in the amateurs, so she's come in, she's developed her power a bit, and she's getting girls out there.
That is quite unusual in the women's game as well, seeing that many stoppages this early on.
Yeah, 100%. 3 knockouts, 4 wins, and that's just the only way is up now. Just need to get her a deal, get her signed to one of these big promoters, and just let her start showing her skills.
And you've been to these top tier shows a lot. We've seen you here for years, and finally getting to box on it.
Yeah, obviously my sister Harley's usually on them, so thank you for Johnny to get me on here and have the exposure on DAZN. So hopefully I get signed after this, just from the exposure alone and the performance.
Only 4 fights in, but you know, with performances like that, that was a step up. But are you looking to keep stepping up every fight?
Yeah, we're looking to keep like the momentum going and a little step up every time. Look, we're not messing around, do you know what I mean? I'm 28 now, so I want to be looking for the titles in the near future, hopefully towards the end of this year, early next year. So yeah, we'll just keep climbing, keep the momentum going.
Final words to the supporters in here?
Just thank you to everyone that come down, thank you to my sponsors. Couldn't have done it without you guys, so yeah, massive appreciation.
Well done, fantastic performance.
Thank you.
My name is Tunde Duile. I'm a professional boxer who couldn't get a fight. There were times I thought I'd never make my debut, but sometimes it's about the right place, the right time. In just 3 weeks, I went from no plans to selling tickets to walking out at your call live on DAZN to knocking my man out. That's called taking an opportunity right there. A lot of people wait until the timing feels perfect, until they feel ready. Sometimes you just have to jump and trust yourself on the way down, because you never know where one decision can take you. All I know now is that this is where I belong. I'm not here to take part, I'm here to take over. Top tier persistence, 12th of July, 2026, live on DAZN. Come witness chapter 2.
Well, you saw him in our opening bout. He is now a Centurion. He's had 100 professional fights. Robbie Chapman. We didn't get a chance to speak to you straight after. You had to go to a medical. But here you are. How are you feeling after that fantastic achievement, 100 professional fights?
Yep, I feel brilliant. I'm really glad now to be part of the Centurion Club. There's a few of the other journeymen, Jordan Granham, I can't think of names now because I've just had a fight. But there's a few of them that I've just wanted to be part of that club, and now I can say I'm part of that club. So, yeah, I'm glad, man. Thanks.
It looks like when you're in there, you're still enjoying boxing. Is that the case?
I'm here to have fun, man. I have fun every single time I fight. I've had 100 fights, and I've had fun 100 times. So I'll just say it's lucky, really, that you're doing an interview with me now, like, after the fight. If it was straight after the fight, I'd still be buzzing, and I'd be chatting shit until you say, all right, mate, go and give it a rest. But now I've calmed down. But let me just say a couple of quick things, just quickly, yeah? I want to say thanks to Johnny Clark for the show, yeah, because he's been really nice to me, because it's my 100th fight and that. Everyone's come and been really nice, so I want to say thanks for that. It makes me feel good and whatnot. Obviously, my coach as well, from back in the day. I don't have a coach anymore, I train myself and whatnot. But Xavier Miller, back in the day, he made me good, and he's come back and done my corner today, so that was a brilliant buzz, man. Thank you very much.
For people who don't know this sort of journeyman life, you used to have a job as well as doing this, is that right?
Mate, I work from 6 a.m. till 11 p.m. Monday to Sunday. We work from the minute we wake up to the moment we go to sleep. We don't stop working.
And how would you find getting into the ring now? Is there any nerves as you're coming out, or have you done it so many times you just don't feel it?
To be honest, it's not really nerves. Like, I'm just looking forward to it, mate. Like, occasionally, every now and then, if you know it's going to be a particularly hard fight, you might feel a little bit nervous, but we just want to get in there, mate, and go and have fun. Like, we do what I've got to do, the training and all that, but now you can go and have fun. And this is what it is, so we go and have fun, yeah.
Now, you've had 100. How many are you planning to have?
We've got to have 100 more, mate. Jordan Granham's had over 200. There he is, my main man over there. So I've got to try and catch him up a little bit.
Well done. It was a great achievement.
Thanks very much, mate. Thanks, everyone, yeah. Peace.
Right, let's get on with the fights here, so I'll hand you over to MC Huss.
Thanks a lot for that.
Really good to give some airtime to Robbie Chapman and to hear that. I was just wondering if that was going to be a retirement speech and a retirement interview, but then Ali at the end asked him the question, now would he push on to the 200, and it sounds exactly like that's what he's going to do. We had Jordan Granham, who I think, did he have his 300th a couple of months ago? So there are very unique characters around who've got the mentality and the ability to put themselves in that position, earn a few quid out of it, and come out of it safely as well. And I think Chapman's one of those characters.
He definitely is, and it's a difficult thing to do. It takes a lot of skill. So what you find with these fighters is often they were, like him, good amateurs, and then when they turn pro, they start off as prospects, wanting to see what they could do, and then something would happen. Maybe they lose a fight early on that they weren't supposed to, and the promoter they're working with suggests that they try the away corner, or maybe they find selling tickets really difficult, and so they want to go to the away corner because they do want to keep fighting. Then you have to make that adjustment when you're in with somebody who you know really in your heart that you're better than and you could beat. You have to control that pride and not never try and win, but just understand what your role is, and all of those things are quite difficult to factor in, but he's got to 100, and it's great to see. It's great to see.
Elias against Zanoli coming up next. 6 rounds in the super featherweight division. It's been so hard for Elias and his team to get opponents, often having to dip into their own pocket just to get an opponent in the ring. The price tag seems to go up and up and up as the fights go along as well. Another side of the business that we don't tend to hear about too often, but he's a hot prospect, Elias, and he's up against the more experienced Italian Yuri Zanoli up next. That's stepping up to 6-round distance as well for Elias. He's a good prospect, good skills, and really looking forward to seeing the next leg of his journey. Before we do, Andy, just very briefly, if you were playing manager and matchmaker with Shona Whitwell, how are you looking at the next few fights, the next few months?
I think you need to get somebody next up for her who is going to be a real challenge for her, somebody who believes that they can beat her, but with some substance to it. Lomax, for example, has got a lot of belief in herself. You can see that. She came to try and win, but she didn't have the skill level that was going to allow her basically to do that. So you need her in a fight next, I think, where there is some real jeopardy, where you're up against somebody who, if you don't put it all together, you could find yourself in trouble, and maybe step up to 8s as well. 8-2s, I think, probably.
And what, 2-3 fights away from, say, fighting for a title, whether it's an English, an area, Commonwealth title, Jade Pierce, the new Commonwealth champion?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a perfectly reasonable ambition. I think that's a good target. I don't think you would want to leave it more than 2 or 3 more fights. I think she's pretty much ready for that. As you discussed earlier, you do find yourself having to make that leap in female pro boxing. It's a good thing in a lot of ways because people move quickly and people are prepared to do it, and the attachment to the O isn't there as much with female pro fighters, I think, as it is with males. It can sometimes see you thrown in a bit too deep too quick, but you just have to try and weigh all of that up, and with an experienced team around her, they're not going to let that happen, I don't think. But to be honest, to throw her in too deep too soon, you'd have to pitch her in really pretty deep, because there is a significant ability level there.
And we were due to see Jermaine Luello next up. He was going to be in a next fight against Jose Sanchez. The pitfalls of being a professional and indeed a prospect, but at any level this can happen. Sanchez weighed in very heavy yesterday, and therefore that fight was called off. So Luello's gone through his camp. I mean, he combines work with being a boxer. Very, very talented young fighter, Luello, but his fight fell out of bed just yesterday. Doesn't get paid, doesn't get a chance to prove himself, doesn't get a chance to take the next step.
And that's a reality, isn't it, that people often don't see, is that is how this works, or rather at times doesn't work. Boxers are self-employed. We're self-employed. Thankfully we don't get punched in the face, but well, sometimes we might, but that's a story. That's a story for another day. But if you don't work, you don't get paid, and that is what it is like for boxers. It doesn't matter that it's not your fault. It doesn't matter that you've upheld your side of the bargain. It's completely emotionless like that. That doesn't matter. The event didn't happen, therefore you don't get paid. And if that happens to you too many times early in a career, that can finish people off sometimes. That can just fill them full of disillusionment and bitterness. And that's why fighters who come through the smaller halls a lot of the time, they've got that kind of resilience that you really need, because they've seen the other side. They know what can happen. They've contemplated life where this really doesn't work out, because they have to. It doesn't make them defeatist. It just makes them realistic. They have to. A lot of them will be working as well as boxing. And all of that, I think, just really fashions them into serious specimens.
Well, Yuri Zanoli's in action next. He actually went the distance 3 years ago with young prospect Tom Welland, who's boxed on Channel 5. He's boxed on one of these Johnny Clark bills as well. He's now speaking to Ali.
Yes, he certainly is. Tom Welland is alongside me, here supporting the Top Tier shows. You're here so often. How are you enjoying the show so far?
Yeah, it's good. It's a sweat box in here, though, I'll be honest. But yeah, no, it's good. It's just a nice little Sunday afternoon, little bit of boxing, support the boxers, stable mates on it. Shauna Brown's is fighting. So, yeah, just to come out, it's a day out for me. Yeah, I enjoy it.
How do you find sitting watching the boxing as opposed to fighting? Does it make you want to get in there?
It does, but at the same time, I've had 2 back-to-back fights, so I like to have a little bit of downtime. I've just come back from holiday, so yeah, it does give you itchy knuckles, but at the same time, it's nice to sit and watch and not have the pressure of getting in the ring and performing.
Yeah, so your stable mate Shauna Brown is on the card. How excited are you to see her? You know, here she's doing well at the moment. You know, she's back to winning ways, and she'll be wanting to make a statement tonight.
Yeah, of course, and it's great for the gym. It's great for us. It's another belt for the collection for the gym. I think Aaron, over the last 3 or 4 fights, he's won a belt every fight. You know, like that record's just unbelievable. So for the gym, it's great, and yeah, just to be here and support. Like I haven't seen much women's boxing. Like I've not really trained around women before, so it's different for me to watch. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. She's an exciting fighter. She brings the heat, and yeah, it'll be a good fight.
And you've said you've had 2 back-to-back fights, you just had a holiday. Are you back in the gym now, and have you got any plans for an upcoming fight? Do you know of anything yet?
Yeah, I'm back in the gym. To be honest, I never really left. I was just like toned it down a little bit, gave myself a little bit of recovery. But yeah, just looking for October, hopefully a domestic title, and we can just push on for 27.
Perfect. We're looking forward to seeing you back in the ring. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you very much.
Right, I can now throw you to MC Husk because the next fight's ready to go.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, time for our next bout of the evening, scheduled 6 3-minute rounds in the super featherweight division. Please welcome to the ring, Yuri Zanoli.
Really experienced Italian Yuri Zanoli, who's had 30 fights already. He's been the distance with Tom Welland, who you just heard of. He's 12 fights into his career. That was a few years ago up in Newcastle. He also went the distance back in March with young prospect Connor Mitchell, son of former world title challenger and West Ham talent Kevin Mitchell. So Zanoli knows how to handle himself, knows how to take the prospects a few rounds.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent to the ring, Jawad Ilyas.
Looking forward to the latest chapter in the fledgling career of 23-year-old Jawad Ilyas, really talented. He's been on a couple of these DAZN shows already, back in February in this very ring where he went the distance against Alicia Caseda. We got a little glimpse of what he's all about, and then he was back at York Hall in May as well. Here he is, a few fights on, so 5 months into his career, skills to burn. And it's all about the moves and the lessons to be learned along the journey. He's a bright prospect, this.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout scheduled for 6 3-minute rounds in the super featherweight division. This bout is brought to you by Johnny Clark of Top Tier Boxing and proudly sponsored by Empire, Think Green Partners, Synergy Direct, Triple Solar, and Rival. This bout is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. Your area representatives, Richard Barber and Ben Harmsworth. Your timekeeper at the bell, Nick White. And your third man in charge of the action in the ring, referee Rocky Israel. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner. He is wearing the green, white, and gold. His official weight of 128.8 pounds. He is a veteran of 30 professional fights. Hailing from Italy, introducing Yuri Zanoli. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He is wearing the black trunks. His official weight of 132.2 pounds. He is currently undefeated with 2 wins. Hailing from Luton, England, United Kingdom, introducing Jawad Ilyas.
Well, lads, you already know the rules. Above all, you must protect yourselves and obey my command at all times. Now, touch gloves and good luck.
So it's another experienced opponent tonight for Jawad Ilyas to try and work out.
Seconds out.
I think he's certainly been fast-tracked in the boxing business, Andy Ilyas, learning, I think, quite early on about all of the sort of nuances about opponents and the boxing business itself. I think something he's had to deal with, but he's got skills to burn, and I'm really excited and looking forward to this journey he's on.
He's been good to watch so far, certainly, and you can tell from the introduction there that he sells tickets, and that's a big part of it. And he's got an opponent here in Zanoli who's definitely come to give this a crack, because he raced across the ring, as we saw there when the bell went, and that's a good thing for someone like Ilyas. You want someone who's going to come and bring it.
And he's been, as I said, in the introductions, in the build-up. He's been the distance with some British prospects in the past, and recently lost a couple over 6 rounds back home in Italy against some fledgling prospects, 3-0 and 10-1. So he's used to this position, trying to bring a bit of intensity, and important that Ilias is kind of switched on defensively. Lovely little left hook whipped in. So high guard defense, happy to fight in the pocket, Ilias. And so far, trying to take the measure of Zanoli up close. Oh, that's a lovely shot. He just picked that overhand right, didn't he? Whipped in a left hook to the body. So happy. We've not seen... Oh, what a shot. What an overhand right that was. We've not seen this version of Ilias so far. In truth, Andy, we've not seen an opponent put him into this kind of situation. He looks good up close.
He really does. 1:16 remaining in the first round, and Zanoli's in trouble here, and he's just staying in that pocket. You just see him blinking there. I don't think he's recovered from that overhand right.
Clipped him with an uppercut up close. The kind of heat of a fight we've not seen Ilias in yet, forced to fight up close, and he is absolutely reveling in it. Defensively, he's tight, and it's the offense off the defense that's so impressive. Can't miss him with the overhand right so far. Smaller man, but he's chopping down at it, and he's finding the gaps. Crowder getting into it too. It's pretty much been 2.5 minutes of intensity and sharp shooting, creativity from Ilias. And you got to say, fair play so far that Zanoli's managed to somehow weather it.
This has been torrid for him. The final 2 minutes of this round, just trapping the glove there of Ilias over on the ropes and forcing the referee to come in and break them. But he's in trouble here, Zanoli, because he just won't really retreat. He'll stay in range and tuck up. But that's really the best he can do, and he's just catching fire, catching leather off Ilias pretty much constantly.
What a first round that was. Best round of Ilias's career so far, and it's because Zanoli put him in that position, and he absolutely flourished in that scenario. Flourished. Well, most of his boxing so far has kind of been at distance, Andy. We've not had a glimpse into him being able to fight in this way, but Zanoli brought the best out of Ilias in that particular scenario.
Well, we were saying in the previous fight, when you've got somebody who's got that height and that reach that comes with it and those long levers, it is great to be able to use that to keep things at range, to find at a range that the other fighter quite simply can't, and make them try and work to get inside it. But it can be really effective at that mid-range and up close, because you can just dig those toes in and you get great leverage with those long levers. And that's what he did, because that overhand right was a kind of short chopping overhand right. Then we saw some little uppercuts, hooks on the inside, and Zanoli's one of these people who looks like he just comes forward and he's pretty rigid. He doesn't really ride punches, does he? So he takes it pretty much full force, whether it's on the gloves or whether it's flush on the chin.
Means business, I think, on the front foot in this second round. He means business. It was a lovely stabbing jab to the body. Then he clips him with a punch that works so well in the first round, and that's the overhand right. He can hardly miss him, and I think he really means to go after him at the start of this second round, Ilias. There's a real menace and intensity about him tonight. Put in a position that is unfamiliar to us, but seemingly not so for him. And that composure in the pocket is that can be a gift. Now there's another right hand. Slight little stutter and stumble forward from Zanoli, and his defences at the moment are just too leaky. And although he gets an uppercut in up close, Ilias is able to find the gaps. Again, he's happy almost to go chest to chest. Maybe just needs a little space here, Ilias, with Zanoli's back against the ropes.
I think you're right. I think he's got a bit too close, if anything, but he finds that left to the body. There's just no weapon, Zanoli, to go. He's seeking into the ropes here. Another right to the body that time from Ilias, but actually up close now, he's really beginning to work him over.
Nowhere to go, no escape. Left hook to the body. Again, it just seemed he freezed there momentarily, Zanoli. And you can see that the hands and the elbows tucked in as best he can. Now moving the attack up, downstairs to upstairs. So he's thinking about this. Been on the front foot right from the very start, hasn't he? Another 2.5 minutes of fairly intense pressure. This a different kind of distance, different kind of fight to the opening. There's the left hook, goes through once again. Again, Ilias happy to put his chin on the chest of Zanoli. Hardly looks like he's breathing, Ilias, either. He's thrown a lot of punches through the first 6 minutes. He's won every single moment of those minutes as well, but he seems to be doing it in a bit of a canter.
Just looking at Zanoli in the corner, he's just a few yards to our right-hand side. It kind of looks okay. There's a bit of marking up on his left cheekbone, but he's been hit with some pretty heavy shots, and Ilias looked to get a hold of that body in that second round as well. And the problem he's got, Zanoli, is that when he gets backed up to the ropes, he's squared to the ropes, he's sitting in the ropes a bit, and he's not great at slipping and rolling and avoiding punches there. He's pretty much literally a sitting target, and when he did manage to get off the ropes, then Ilias just gives himself a little bit more room and goes to work again. So there's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide for Zanoli, really. And this next 4 rounds, if he manages to get through them, are going to be really long.
Seconds out. Josh Burnham with his back to you in the T-shirt, giving the instructions to Jawad Ilias. They've known each other and worked together since the amateur days, so really solid relationship between the pair. And I wonder what the instructions would have been, whether he needs to give himself a little more space or if it's more of the same. You could hardly say that what he's doing so far in the first couple of rounds isn't working. Good to see Ilias getting into good habits as well. So easy, I think, for fighters' prospects when everything's going their own way to neglect their defences, and that sort of high guard serving him well, even although it's not necessarily required so far.
Zanoli's still doing everything he can here to try and fight back, quite literally. He's not looking to ride this out necessarily, or rather the way he's looking to try and ride it out is to attack whenever he gets the opportunity, and that is the right thing to do, because you can't just tuck up and take this for 6 rounds. He's just trying to have a little bit of a chat there with Ilias too up close, which I think again is probably quite a good idea. Maybe he could just rile him up slightly, get him to lose concentration. I don't think it's particularly likely, but it's worth a try.
You sense, Andy, that Ilias is looking for any one particular shot?
No, I think the good thing is that he's working him over using a good amount of variety. I think after that kind of flashpoint in the first round and success in the second round, he's probably looked at it and thought to himself, OK, maybe this guy isn't quite ready to go yet. I don't need to completely empty the tank yet, but I've got to keep the tempo high and just keep on him, because he's going to wilt.
Looking to get the body shot in there. There was a little smile from Zanoli after Ilias looked and tried to land the left hook to the body. Whether that was because it landed and hurt him or not, maybe we'll see. And he certainly looks so comfortable in this kind of fight, Ilias. There's a nice little right hand again from Ilias. Crowd are loving it. Now a high-paced round flies by. Maybe not quite able to hurt Zanoli in the same way he had done in the first and second rounds.
No, I don't think so. And maybe Zanoli has felt the power and kind of got used to it a little bit. He was still very much under the cosh there, but we're halfway through, and what you don't want to do is blow a gasket and then see Zanoli come back into it towards the end, because there was a good spring in this step as he went back to the corner there, Zanoli. And I think that's born of the fact that that was probably the least rough round he's had of the three so far. There was a spell during that first, wasn't there, where you wondered whether he might go under, because he was doing his best just to try and keep the punches out,
10
but
seconds.
it wasn't proving all that successful at times, and he did look just faintly scrambled. Whereas you look over him now and look at his eyes, and he doesn't. He knows exactly what's going on.
Yeah, whether that's because he's kind of got used to the power and the pain a little, or whether Ilias wasn't just able to find the gaps. Lovely double left hand there. It was jab and then an up jab, almost an uppercut. Beautiful pick shot there from Ilias. Well, that was nice from Ilias, wasn't he? He landed the right hand to the body and then danced back at a range to go for phase two. Oh, lovely shot. Now he's getting his footwork into play. And some of the things we've sort of been wondering about distance, he's starting to do that now. He's making adjustments, Ilias, finding a little bit of space, moving round the target, getting his feet there and then out again, and he's just finding a bit more space to get those shots in. Still Zanoli trying, winged away with a left hand of his own, still throwing punches. Left hook to the body there from Ilias in that exchange. He's got those cheekbones, hasn't he, Zanoli, that you fancy in a longer fight would really mark up and cut. Ilias looking for the body again.
And the pace has maybe just dropped a touch in this round, which is understandable, but it's still high. The output is still high. He just thunders in a couple of uppercuts there, Ilias, the left and the right. I think they both kind of half got through, but he's just keeping the heat up on Zanoli here. And he'll continue to do that in the hope that maybe in the last couple of rounds he might just break, because you do see it, don't you? You see a fighter coping until all of a sudden they're not. And it can be quite abrupt when they cross that line. Good right hand on the inside there from Ilias.
A lovely left hook there. And that was the danger for Zanoli when he's trying to throw his own shots. Found a bit of space, Ilias. Zanoli missed with his own shot, put him off balance, and he was punished there by a lovely left hook. That's another good round from Ilias, another winning round for him. It shows you how difficult it is for a prospect and for the corner to strike the right balance between what's working. Do we carry on? Do we stick or twist? Do we have to add another layer into the repertoire as the fight goes on? It's an interesting balance, that.
Always. The thing what's impressive about Ilias, and his first two fights have gone the distance too, because they've selected for him good opponents, is that he didn't get overexcited. He had success in that first round, but what you can often see happen there early in a fighter's career, particularly if they've not had a stoppage, is that they do just lose the plot slightly, throw the kitchen sink at their opponent, and if they're not careful, punch themselves
10
out.
seconds.
I've never felt like he's been in any danger of doing that. As I say, I think in our second round, he maybe had a look and thought to himself, OK, this guy's probably not ready to go yet. Maybe in the second half, but I'm going to have to really earn this, and that's what he's looking to do.
Well, he's into a fifth round for the first time in his career. Jawad Ilyas, this one scheduled for 6, so he's been through the 4-round distance a couple of times now, moving through the ranks and up the distances as he goes. It's a new experience for him, but he's done it also fairly efficiently. But he does look like he's working within himself in terms of the engine. But it's another thing, more mental, I think, for anything else for these young prospects. And another box to be ticked for him. That was nice again from Ilyas, wasn't it? He was being held, and he managed to move off, free his left hand and punch while he was being held. I think there's now those cheekbones of Zanoli, I think they're starting to mark up now finally. Oh, lovely uppercut, gum shield's gone. It's a beautiful right hand picked there from Ilyas. And the gum shield popped out from Zanoli. Almost walked him onto the uppercut again, Ilyas. As the chants of Jawad come from the fans.
Just finds a touch of space for that uppercut on the inside there, Ilyas. And that's been one of the good things about this. He's used some good variety. Zanoli's tried to get hold of him quite a bit, wrap him up, trap his arm on the blind side of the referee, all that kind of stuff, but it's not really worked. He's not managed to slow him down particularly, which makes it impressive that Zanoli is still in there and throwing, because he's chosen to do this the hard way, hasn't he? But that's how he fights.
And I think the most impressive thing tonight is that, you know, third fight in for Ilyas, he looks so comfortable up close. You know, Amir Khan, brilliant Amir Khan, went through his entire career never really learning that lesson, never really learning how to fight up close, both offensively or defensively. But Ilyas looks very much at ease in that space. Little retreat, maybe just a little exhale, puff of the cheeks from Zanoli. Punches coming back a little slower from the Italian now as well. And whether that's because of just the sustained attacks of the body shot, and he just stuttered back a little on the ropes, on the bell. One more round to go.
We've not really had a quiet round since we started boxing an hour or so ago. We had Joe O'Brien against Robbie Chapman, Shona Whitwell up against Vicky Lomax, and now Ilyas in with Zanoli. And every single round we've had so far has been at a good pace, at a good tempo. The sixth and final round coming up here, and Josh Burnham, I think, just telling Ilyas that if he keeps doing what he's doing, then maybe that opening will come, maybe that moment will come where Zanoli just feels one too many.
10
and he
seconds.
cracked that shell. You see it happen.
Seconds out. Six.
But you've got to love the shift
round.
put in by the away corner fighter here. Big smile on his face as he comes to the centre of the ring and touch gloves, and he looks in pretty good shape actually. There is marking up on the cheekbones, like you said, a little bit of blood, but that fog that I think he was in the first round, his conditioning meant that he was able to fight his way through that fairly quickly. and he's still throwing every chance he gets.
And he's come out of the start of the 6th exactly like he did at the start of the 1st round, and it put him in trouble, didn't it, Zanoli? Because Ilias was just a bit cuter and cleverer, more technical up close. But he's come out to give it another lash, Zanoli.
That was good from Ilias just before he got broken by the referee there, and Zanoli complained a little bit about the head coming in because he was just tip-tapping and then took a step to the left-hand side, changed the angle slightly, which meant that he could find the right hand down the middle. And it's just those fractional movements, isn't it? Those little micro steps almost that just helps you just squeeze a glove through. You watch the really good up-close fighters down the years, and they all do that. It's easy to look at them and feel like they're just kind of battering away, but it's a little step here, little step there, changing the angle, shifting the angle all of the time.
And I think Zanoli will be a name and a number that the matchmakers will have in their little black books, because he's a slightly different animal to a couple of the opponents that Ilias has been in with so far. He'll have a little bit more of a go, and because of that, he could pose some problems, but he also affords you some more opening. So he's going to be useful for the matchmakers, and he's certainly made it a better fight for fans tonight, and I think also in the education of Jawad Ilias too. So it's kind of win-win all round, although he's had to take his lumps and bumps, the Italian.
He has. He's a great opponent, though, because he comes to fight. He came out of that corner believing he could win this fight. That's what you saw. It wasn't a tactic. Sometimes with away corner fighters, they'll make an aggressive start to try and just make the opponent think a little bit, back up a little bit, and then maybe just have a look for the first round, and then you're a round in, and you've got that round in the bank. And you see fighters do that. Experienced away corner fighters know all of those psychological games that they can play, but that wasn't what that was. He came out looking to do some damage, and he's in really good shape. That's what's allowed him to get through this. How many of these you can have, I'm not really sure, but as you say, the matchmakers will love him.
Picked a few shots beautifully there, Ilias, in those exchanges. And this is as good as we've seen Ilias so far in his career, and that's largely down to the opponent. Good fight, enjoyed that. Excellent pace, and we got to see maybe some glimpses into the future with Jawad Ilias, but we certainly got to see some of the best of him.
We did, with 3 fights in. He's had 14 rounds now, hasn't he? And they've been 14 good rounds, 14 worthwhile rounds. And when you look at somebody's record early on, people like to look at how many stoppages they've got, but it doesn't really mean a lot, to be honest. Often it just tells you the kind of fighters that they've been in with, and people might look at it, 3 fights, 3 wins, no knockouts, and kind of assume from that that he's not the world's biggest puncher. He's a perfectly respectable puncher power-wise. He's got good variety, but he's got plenty out of these 3 fights, hasn't he? That's the really important thing. And Zanoli is the kind of guy who, if you don't have the kind of ability that Ilias has got, and you're maybe not quite on it, he can beat you. He can beat you, but he had no chance of beating Ilias.
No, not tonight. He gave it a lash, though. He wasn't wanting for ambition, desire, and giving it a lash. Let's get confirmation of it with Hus.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of boxing, we go to the referee scorecard. Referee Rocky Israel scores the bout 60-54. And your winner, still undefeated, Jawad Ilias.
Every round to Jawad Ilias. He's barely dropped one so far in his career, has he? And that's as good as he's looked. That's the best performance so far. Great credit to Zanoli, who had a lash, made him fight. And we saw something different from Ilias. We saw him fighting in the pocket tonight, which is great to see. We know he's got that in his armoury, Andy.
We saw plenty from him, didn't we? And right from the start, it was a blistering start, really, to the fight, because Zanoli came flying across the ring at him, and he could have been caught cold, but he immediately just loved it, really, didn't he? Relished the opportunity to have that kind of a fight and showed us that he's plenty capable of having it. And what I like really was the fact that, as I said before, he didn't go crazy when he got him hurt, because he definitely did have him hurt.
No, it looked like the first 2 rounds looked like you're going to on his way to a stoppage. If you're nitpicking, I think maybe in the 3rd and 4th he was too much on his chest and maybe cramped his distance a little bit, but that's nitpicking. And maybe the other thing they'll think about is, could we have maybe found another layer or layers to the attack? Do something different as the fight progressed. I don't know. I'm only thinking aloud. I'm not a teacher. I'm a watcher. But maybe those are the sort of things they'll be looking back on the tape and thinking about, wondering about. But that was great to watch. As good as he's looked, let's see how he's feeling now. He's with his coach Josh, and he's with Ali.
Jawad, fantastic performance. It looked like a performance that we haven't seen from you before. You stepped it up in there tonight. Is that how it felt?
Yeah, of course, you know, every fight we're planning to step it up. So as the fights go harder and the rounds go longer, you see a more better and complete Jawad Ilyas.
Yeah, your first 6 rounds complete, but it did look like maybe you were going to get him out of there in the first or potentially second. Did you feel that that was potentially going to happen?
I did feel that, but yet again, I've learned from my previous fights, just don't rush it. Just take your time in there, and if it comes, it comes. If not, more experience for the future.
Yeah, it definitely was. And he's gone the distance with top prospects, and you made it tough for him in there.
100%, yeah, I did, you know. He's a tough man. He's definitely earned his money, so fair play to him.
Let's bring in Coach. Come on in. In World Euro, come on. How proud are you of a performance like that? It seemed like he brought something different to the ring than what we've seen before.
Yeah, very proud. Jawad, he steps up every training camp. He listens. He's very coachable. And I just think as the rounds go longer and the opponents step up, you're going to see more and more out of him. Do you know what I mean? The better quality opponent brings out a better Jawad Ilyas.
You've had a busy 2026 so far, but what is next? Are you going to have a bit of time out, or is it straight back in?
A bit of time out, but I'll still be in the gym, ready for October, ready to beat someone else up, definitely. So, yeah.
Yeah, Coach, do you think straight back in the gym or a bit of time to chill?
Nah, straight back in the gym. These guys in the early days, they don't get time off, man. There's a year-long camp. That's what we're doing.
Final word to the amount of fans you've brought in here. As always, they've raised the roof.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to say a big thank you for Johnny for putting me on. My coach, Josh, he's more than a coach. He's a friend, he's a mentor. He's someone that believes in me. My family, my parents, my brothers and sister. And you know, my 2 sponsors, RDB Workshop and Luton Touros. They've been backing me from the start, and I'm grateful to have support like them behind me. So yeah, happy days.
Well done. Fantastic performance tonight.
Thank you very much, Andy.
My name is Tunde Duele. I'm a professional boxer who couldn't get a fight. There were times I thought I'd never make my debut, but sometimes it's about the right place, the right time. In just 3 weeks, I went from no plans to selling tickets to walking out at your call live on DAZN to knocking my man out. That's called taking an opportunity right there. A lot of people wait until the timing feels perfect, until they feel ready. Sometimes you just have to jump and trust yourself on the way down, because you never know where one decision can take you. All I know now is that this is where I belong. I'm not here to take part, I'm here to take over. Top tier persistence, 12th of July, 2026, live on DAZN. Come witness chapter 2.
Conor Mitchell is alongside me, a 3-0 prospect. He's here watching ringside, and you did just see one of your former opponents in there.
Yeah, no, I used to spar Jawad as well, so it's good to see what Jawad was doing, and yeah, that opponent's a tough fighter.
Yeah, he's gone the distance with a lot of top prospects. He's hard to get out of there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's tough as anything. Like, even when I was in there, I was hitting him with everything. He kept walking me down, and I thought, cool, when's he going to go? But listen, it's good. You need them opponents, you know. You need to them opponents to keep building. You can't just get everyone out of there. You need to learn.
So you're sat ringside. Anyone in particular you're supporting this evening?
Yeah, so my old teammates Shauna and Maisey Rose, so yeah, I'm supporting them and I can't wait for them to do the job.
And it's a fantastic card as well. They're just 2 of the title fights. There's 6 title fights on this bill. So this is a huge show here in Brentwood.
Yeah, no, it's wicked. Johnny does great cards, I think. A lot of 50-50s as well. So, yeah, no, it's good to come here and see everyone fight.
As for you, have you got anything in the pipeline lined up?
Yeah, there should be an announcement soon. So, yeah, next week, I say.
Okay. Not going to give us any idea when it could be, the fight?
Yeah, August time.
Oh, okay, so you're in camp now, in training?
Yeah, in camp. I've been 2 weeks in camp now, so it starts getting tough, but yeah, I'm ready.
And have you been speaking to Johnny about potentially getting yourself on one of these cards?
No, I think he did ask Matcham, obviously, if he could get me on the card, but I don't think they got back to him. So, but I would love to fight her as well, obviously. It's Brentwood, it's local to me, so I'll be able to sell a lot of tickets, but yeah, listen, I've got to do what Matcham say at the end of the day.
Well, there is potential, because this is a crossover with a Matchroom fighter as the main event. We've had quite a few Matchroom fighters on this, so Johnny, keep going, because there is potential for you to get on here.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, as I said, he puts on great cards, so yeah, it'd be a good night.
Well, looking forward to seeing your fight announcement. Thank you for speaking to us.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, we've got the prospects ringside and indeed on the bill tonight, and another couple of them coming up. Cruiserweights, in fact. Tunde Duyile, who we saw your call back in May, in the end stopping Ross McGuigan, which not too many people do. He was all action that night, Duyile, and he's up against the 29-year-old Welshman Josh Kagan, who's unbeaten in 3 with 2 stoppages. Injuries blighting him. That's why he's been out of the ring for a few years, but he's back full of the business. So that is a kind of anything could happen contest, even although I suppose the bookies would be making Duyile as the favourite. So that's coming up next. We've got a talented young Hungarian prospect, Levente Gemej, who's joining Johnny Clark. And Johnny Clark looking to do, Andy, with Gemej what he's done with, say, Konstantin Urshu, you know, from Moldova. A talented guy no one really knows about. I mean, people like you who follow the amateurs know about Gemej, but he's another one of those sort of hidden secrets and unpolished diamonds that Johnny Clark's hoping to take to title contention.
It's a really interesting one, Bizarrely, I saw Gemej in the European Juniors in 2021, boxing for Hungary, and he's been around Europe, been around the world, boxing at a very good level.
He's coming up in our next but one fight. Let's get to the next with Huss.
Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for our next bout of the evening, scheduled 6 3-minute rounds in the Cruiserweight division. Please welcome to the ring, Josh Kagan.
Well, welcome back, Josh Kagan, the 29-year-old. Unbeaten in 3. His career was trucking along quite nicely back in 2022-23, but he has been blighted by injuries over the last few years. That's why we've not seen him. But physically, he's well prepared. He's part of the team down at the award-winning Warehouse Gym in Swansea, where he's an instructor, works alongside the likes of former European champion Jay Harris, who's part of that team. He comes from Jay Harris and Enzo Macronelli territory. If he's got Enzo's punch, then we could be in for some fireworks tonight.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent to the ring, Tunde Duyile.
Well, he created quite an impression, I think, on DAZN fans and top-tier followers the last time up, where he made a bit of an unexpected announcement on that show. It was a late call-up for him, just a few weeks. He sold 80 tickets in a short space of time. Raucous fans who'd made their way up from the Devon coast, and he put in a performance that night against Ross McGuigan. Andy and I really enjoyed that. He was front foot, energetic, full steam ahead. He's power-packed, a little bit of the sort of Dan Aziz about him. And looking forward to seeing how he can build on that tonight, Duyile.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout scheduled for 6 3-minute rounds in the Cruiserweight division. This bout is brought to you by Johnny Clark of Top Tier Boxing and proudly sponsored by Empire, Think Green Partners, Synergy Direct, Triple Solar, and Rival. This bout is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. Your area representatives, Richard Barber and Ben Harmsworth. Your timekeeper at the bell, Nick White. And your third man in charge of the action in the ring, referee Sean McAvoy. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the black and white. His official weight of 198.6 pounds. He's currently undefeated with 3 wins, and 2 of those wins come in by way of knockout. Hailing from Swansea, Wales, United Kingdom, introducing Josh Kagan. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He's wearing the navy with silver trim. His official weight of 187.8 pounds. He is currently undefeated with 1 win, and that 1 win came in by way of knockout. Hailing from Dover, Kent, England, United Kingdom, introducing Tunde Duyal.
Ready? Okay, lads, 6-round contest. Keep it clean all the time. Keep yourself protected all the time. Touch gloves. Here we go. Good luck, lads.
Really looking forward to this one. This is a Johnny Clark top tier special, isn't it? With 2 unbeaten prospects. Neither, I suspect, quite know what they're up against. And a sort of a 50-50 feel to it, in so much as anything could happen. 2 fighters in the same weight division who couldn't be any different physically if they tried. Who's going to make their ranges and sizes or attributes count? You can see already Kagan trying to get the heavy artillery off, and Duyile looking to counter punch inside when he gets the chance. A fascinating matchup, this, Andy.
I think this is going to be really interesting, and Duyile got through with a short right hand there opening stages when Kagan, as you say, was looking to let them go a bit. They're both in really good nick, and Kagan has come here looking to use this as a springboard for himself. Duyile, when you speak to him, he's one of these people who's got this kind of menacing, quiet confidence to him. He's done lots of really good sparring, and he wants to move quick, and I think there are possibilities with him. I think this is going to be a good watch.
Yeah, he was, overall, he was really good against Ross McGuigan, wasn't he? He was front foot aggressive, threw a lot of punches, very positive in the first round. Second round, it looked like McGuigan was getting into it and asked a few questions, and then suddenly he just went after him and he wore down McGuigan in the third round of that one. So there is a kind of power and intensity, positivity about Duyile. But with the long levers and the size of Kagan, he's just going to have to be careful and mindful, respectful, I think, through this one.
And he looks pretty well schooled, doesn't he, Kagan? He is absolutely massive when you look at the pair of them in there.
Yeah, he's fit and strong. As I say, day to day, he's working in that warehouse gym down in Swansea. He actually trained Lee Trundle, the Swansea football legend, for a charity fight a few months back as well. I think they have a few sort of bare knuckle fighters that come into that gym as well. So he's well prepared. He's used to sort of doing the work day in, day out. He's surrounded by that kind of mentality as well. So I think he's as well prepared as he can be, given the long layoff. That was a good counter there. And he went to lead with the right hand, Kagan, and to be fair, at distance, Duyile was able to avoid that and fast back with his own counter.
It's nice and loose, isn't he, Diele, just flicking that jab up from the waist, but Kagan again just looking for that right hand always.
And not easy to out-jab the much taller, longer man, and he managed to do that in a couple of those exchanges. He's got better as the round's gone on, Diele. I think a lot of what was at play and we suspected was at play we've seen through this opening round. Maybe now Diele just starting to warm up and get into it. I think he's got his timing now. Starting to get into it. A little bit of that menace that Andy was talking about beforehand. Coming to bed in the last 30 seconds. Good closing minute that for Diele.
It was a great finish to the round, wasn't it, from the pair of them, the last 15, 20 seconds there. And I think you're right. I think Diele maybe at that point had just locked on range-wise. And if that continues in the second, the way it finished in the first, then somebody's going down here before too long, because cruiserweights, as we know, they can all bang. And they're just trading off for that kind of middle distance. Terrific finish. It's always great to watch the cruisers, isn't it? Because they're in shape, they're really powerful.
Yeah, exactly. They can still move a bit more than the heavyweights. They fight a bit quicker than the heavyweights. You saw an absolute cracker down on the coast with Chris Billham-Smith a few weeks back as well. I suspect it took a few washes to get the blood off your clothes and out of your notes, I suspect.
I managed to avoid it, actually. There's a little bit of a trick where you just get a piece of paper and tuck it under your chin like an old school napkin.
Yeah, I think you need a bib, don't you?
Yeah, a bib, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. We had Chev Clark against Jack Massey, a cruiserweight on that card too. It's just a division that for ages has really delivered. And when we were younger, people would always talk about cruiserweight as being an unfashionable division. People said that about it for ages, didn't they? Even though it almost always delivered good action.
Both of them settling right down to this in the early moments. And it's good, clever pick shots there from Kagan. And I think we might get a bit of this tit for tat. Raise your chips in from both of them. It's a good matchup.
It is, and you just get the feeling, I do anyway, that one of these two is going to land something big in this second round. Kagan has got quite nice quick hands for such a big man, looking to try and finish on that left to the body.
He is, he's busier this round. He's point scoring, nearly landed with the right hand. He did manage to come back with the left hook. There's the beauty of throwing in bunches and combinations. But to be fair, the defences of Diele, as you might expect from a guy who's been in training camp with Anthony Yard, that he does know how to look after himself. He does look comfortable in those exchanges, even though it's been a good start to the round from the busier Kagan. Both almost got through with the right hand, Andy.
It did. I couldn't quite work out for a split second there quite what had happened. I think Kagan's definitely landed. I think Diele's maybe partially did, but he was rocked back onto his heels there, Diele, definitely.
And there is just a sprinkling of anything could happen in the air here. As Andy was saying, this is a good response from Kagan. First couple of minutes of the round, as much as Diele does look comfortable enough under the pressure, and he's trying to fire back now, and just as he did at the end of the first round, he's finishing strong.
And that's maybe more his kind of range, isn't it, where he can just put the shoulder in there and just work with that right hand in particular, because Kagan is just that much bigger, that much taller. That sort of mid-long range definitely suits him. That closer range just there as he cuffs with the right hand.
A couple of right hands. I think he hurts him with the second of the right hooks, and he forces Kagan backwards. Now Diele, he definitely got through with that second punch in particular, and the shorter punches up close that Kagan was doing so well from distance. He was busier, and as soon as they got a little closer, it got more dangerous for Kagan, and there's a lot of blood now coming out of that nose, and that was the second short right hand in a sequence from Diele. Kagan was winning the round. It might be that Diele just stole it from him at the end.
I think he probably did, didn't he? And there's not been much in this at all, but there's been 2 strong finishes in both of these rounds. And Kagan there just clattering that right hand in, which I don't know whether it really stunned him, Diele. Possibly not, but there's that right hand. And he swings them up from low, doesn't he? And I think they appear on the radar quite late, and he gets real purchase on. And this is so well poised, isn't it? Scheduled for 6, so we're only through 2 at the minute, and they've been throwing some serious leather. You could say maybe at the end of that round, Diele could have put a bit of a dent in Kagan, but he took what he was given there pretty well. But I think this is set very nicely for the 4 rounds remaining. It's a tremendous match, this, when you look at the fact that we've got a 1-0 fighter and a 3-0 fighter.
Excellent. Exactly what we come to expect on these Johnny Clark top-tier DAZN shows. And great credit to both men that absolutely hand up in the air. Yes, please, was the answer from both of them. And we, as the fans, are the winners for that. As we move into the third then. So Kagan's seen the blueprint for how it can work for him. And maybe Diele senses that he has the power to change this, sway it his way.
Kagan's one of these guys who, despite his height and reach, is not going to want to keep it right on the outside. He doesn't really extend. That's not quite how he goes about it, but he needs to keep it a little bit longer, doesn't he? Because Diele wants it here, right here. That's where he wants it, those hooks and uppercuts.
Clever, though, from Diele. It's a very relaxed style that he's got. He almost teased him with the right hand over the top, and then once he prized him with that, he whipped in the uppercuts again with the right hand. So some really clever, thoughtful stuff. And I think he might have some sneaky power as well, Diele.
I definitely feel like he's got some power. That's the word around the gyms as well. Straight right hand there from Diele, and Kagan just trying to swing back. And this is great stuff.
The left hook to the body in there from Diele as well. And I'll tell you what he's really good at is suddenly, very quickly, courtesy of the angle of the body, he's able to just spring into a counter punch.
He's loose, isn't he? He's got that kind of elasticity to him, Diele, where he just can spring at you from different angles.
I think he's starting to get through with some of these heavier shots now. That right hand again from Diele, and you can just see a bit of swelling on the left side of the face of Kagan. He's definitely starting to get through. Clips him with another short right hand. I think that left eye is a little swollen now for Kagan as well. Testament to just a few of those sneaky shots getting through from Diele. Looks so comfortable in the pocket, doesn't he? I mean, facially, he looks a little bit like James Toney, and Toney had that sneaky ability up close. He's really starting to revel in it. He's starting to look sharp now, Diele.
Into the last 30 seconds of the round, and you're right, just a little mouse underneath the right eye of Kagan, a bit of swelling around the eyebrow on that left eye. He's still giving as good as he's getting here, Kagan, but he is coming off second best in this round, and he's doing a lot of good work here, Diele.
He is. There's punches from angles. He's really cute. Much better than he looked on debut. We didn't get sort of teased with these skills from his debut. It was his debut. It was a late call-up. He was probably energized, maybe over-energized, and because of that, it was a different kind of fight. But we're seeing a different fighter tonight as this one goes on.
And we've still got 3 rounds to go here, but he looks nice and relaxed, doesn't he, basically? We know he's done a lot of good work in the gym. You mentioned Yard there. There have been plenty of others, and you just need to try and take that into the ring with you. The circumstances around the debut, as you said, were impressive because he was happy to take it short notice against someone pretty good, but they're not ideal in terms of the focus, maybe. But he looks at home in there, doesn't he? He looks like he really belongs in there, as does Kagan, I have to say that. And there's not been a lot in this, but you'd say in 2 of the 3 rounds, Diele has had a clear enough edge, but he's got to be on his game here, because if he gets careless, Diele, and a little bit too loose, then he could be in trouble.
Absolutely. They're testing each other. They're asking a few questions of each other. Just seems now that as we've gone on, Diele's got a few more of the answers, and the heavier shots are starting to get through from him. But no, they are testing each other, which is exactly what we want, exactly what they want, exactly what it looked like beforehand. Oh, that's a lovely shot. Lovely shot. Good skills, that. You just see it was almost a shoulder roll defense, and then he sprung back from the right side with a right uppercut. It's really cute, really clever, really fast as well from DLA, turning defense into attack. It's quite a languid shot, that uppercut he throws, Andy.
It is, as I said earlier on, he's got that kind of elasticity to him where he can just kind of sling punches out and they go nice and hard and heavy without him really ever loading up much. He is quite muscular, but you wouldn't say he's got that style of a muscle-bound fighter. There is that fluidity there, definitely.
Now again, the blood's coming from the nose of Kagan, who, although he's obviously a bit of a fitness freak, really, in terms of his work, there's nothing like being in ring shape as opposed to gym shape. And as this one goes on, that's another question that's going to be asked of him.
He's got loads to offer, Kagan, hasn't he? And we feel like at the minute he's behind here. He's probably losing this fourth round, but he's got a lot to offer. And if he can get back in regular action, then he can get to a really good level.
Yeah, amen. But again, just a slightly cuter, more efficient work from Duyele, and he's getting through with some of the heavier shots. Again, the right hand, he almost can't miss. Over the top and then through the middle, the uppercut. There's a real variety and menace and power from Duyele, who's, to be honest, looking really impressive in these spurts and spells.
He's had to soak up a few solid right hands, hasn't he, in the last 30, 40 seconds or so, and he's got 2 rounds to go after this, Kagan, and I'm not saying that he should look to try and get through, but he maybe just needs to try and tighten up a little bit. Easy for me to say from here, because 6 more minutes of this kind of, it's not completely one-way punishment, but he's feeling these.
Yeah, it's hurtful enough. And the hands started to come down the last minute of that round, which I think is a potential worry if you're in the Kagan business. The fella in the other corner, I did not expect this, Andy, but only because we had no reason to. We had no evidence of from his debut, which you and I and DAZN viewers saw. But yeah, really impressive.
And that's the right hand that has done some damage for him. He just throws it, not quite from the waist, but not much higher than that. It doesn't travel that far, but it's got plenty on it. He gets good kind of rotation into it. He's just got good mechanics, hasn't he? Trainers talk about boxing mechanics, and that's mainly down to balance and weight transfer. If you ask them to really talk you through it, you need your feet underneath you. And trainers will tell you, you give them somebody with good mechanics, a certain level of athleticism, and we're talking a very high level when you get to professional sport, but they can take anybody who's got that and teach them to punch hard from whatever sport they may be best at. If you've got that, they can teach you to punch hard, and you can see that Duyele he's got those mechanics.
And very comfortable in his own skin. He kind of knows what he is, what he can do, what he's capable of, and there's a real positivity about it as well. Interesting there, he was trying to lead with a stabbing shot as Kagan looked to close the gap and get in with his own shots. Can Kagan raise the play or find something different now in this 5th round? Shakes his head. Kagan again is a looping overhand right. Finds at least some of the target from Duyele.
There's that cuffing right hand, and just watching the two of them in there, the shape that they're in, the ability level that they've got, if if somebody just showed you this and told you that this was an area level fight, that'd stack up, wouldn't it? And this is 1-0 against 3-0.
Yeah, absolutely right. Fair and amen to that. Right idea from Diele, a little bit reckless with the right hand. But again, he gets it to work, both through the middle and round the side or over the top. Fair play to Kagan, who's weathered it well. Left hook to the body, though, from Diele. Again, is patient.
I think they may be both just feeling the pace a bit in this round because it's been intense. And 3-0 against 1-0, like we've said, and we're into the 5th round of a 6-rounder here, and it's been a good quality fight standard-wise, and there's been a lot of punches thrown, a lot of punches taken, so I'm not surprised that maybe they're both just feeling it a bit here.
It's so canny the way he gets the right hand through, either round the side or up the middle. Throws both of those so well. Oh, good body shots coming back from Kagan. Again, no surprise, there's resilience and still ambition from the Welshman. Oh, lovely shot. Right hand, left there from Diele. And once again, it does seem his sort of power and technique just always the decisive factor. Maybe the difference maker. Another good hard 3 minutes, but I think Andy's right. I think they're both feeling the pace as even Diele goes back, slightly slumps to his stool.
It's been a fantastic fight to watch.
Tremendous.
And we felt like it would be, but we'd only seen Diele once. We'd heard a bit about Kagan, they'd been out for a long time, so you can never really know what's going to happen. And that includes him. He couldn't really be completely sure what was going to happen here, but it's been an absolute pleasure to watch because the level of technical ability is really good and the dedication from both, obviously outside the ring in the gym is where it should be, and neither one's taken a backward step, and we've had 5 really intense rounds, and I think we'll get a really good finale here as well.
Seconds out, 6th and last round.
Fair play to them for signing up to this one. And what a treat for the fans it's been. There's a really warm, natural, generous interaction between them as they touch gloves. They're an understanding what they've both given and taken so far in this one.
He's got a solid shin, hasn't he, Kagan? I think they probably both have, but that was a lovely loose 1-2 straight down the pipe, and he just took it and wandered forward again. And I'm not sure if Kagan, if things continue as they have been, is going to get what he deserves on the cards. Up until this point, I think I probably couldn't give him more than 1 round. I'm not absolutely sure, but I probably couldn't. So it might be one of those when we get the scorecards back, but we've got another couple of minutes to enjoy yet.
No, the second was his best round, and then those 2 right hands at the end of it sort of almost could have pinched it for Diele. Thought Diele came on strong at the end of the first, but again, that was in the balance until then. But pretty much the 3rd, 4th, 5th so far, Diele kind of took over with the clever inside work. And the right hand of Diele, the variety of it, it's been the story of the fight, hasn't it?
A good use of it again there.
It is. I mean, maybe people will cop onto it because it has become a signature combo. Kind of right hand down the side and then followed by the right uppercut. That has been his signature combo. So maybe people will cop onto that. But he throws it so well, so naturally, so fluid. Lovely uppercut. Now he changes it. Changes the combination. Exactly the same, opposite way around. Really clever stuff. Well delivered too.
I'm sure what he'd tell you is that he's used it a lot tonight because it's working, and that on another night against somebody else he'd find another way. But it has definitely worked for him tonight.
He's got the angles, hasn't he? The sort of boxing geometry that you need. And interestingly, with a minute to go, he's starting to use his feet around the target a little more. I think he's enjoying himself in there, DLA. And that's because he's been in against a really worthy opponent. Really good opponent too in Josh Kagan, who's still trying to come forward, still trying to have a go, still trying to win even down the stretch.
What he's done really well in this round, Diele, is he's just kept him turning and moving and turning and moving, and he's been trying to do that throughout the fight, but at times he's been happy just to set his feet and really trade. And he's a big man, Kagan, and he's a good fighter. He's got some power, and if you stand in front of him, then he can use that 1-2, that big right hand in particular. But in this round, Diele has never really let him get set. Right hand to the body. He has had some joyful body shots at times, hasn't he?
Kagan's just landed the 2 best right hands he's thrown all night in the last 30 seconds. And I'm glad that they both get to see it outstanding on their feet. There was the threat of violence and chaos all the way throughout that one. But on balance, Diele was just a little cuter. Just a tiny little bit better as well. He was good tonight.
That was very enjoyable to watch. Very enjoyable to watch. Really good round of applause from the crowd, and it's a knowledgeable crowd here at the Brentwood Centre. People like to say that about all sorts of sporting arenas, but it's true of here. And I don't think they would necessarily need to do this again, these two, but it's that kind of a fight where I'd happily watch that again next week. It was really, really good, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think I'd like to see either of them in it again next week. But yeah, absolutely right. That was a really hard fight, and great credit to them for both sticking their hands up and wanting to take on that kind of opponent, because let's be honest about it, if you're a sort of manager promoter, that's the kind of match you run a mile from. Let's be absolutely honest about it. So fair play to them.
And it's a good example as well, isn't it? And I'm sure it will be, that win, lose or draw, it's about the manner of the performance. And Kagan isn't going to get this, but the manner of the performance, the condition he's in, the professionalism he's obviously got, this should get him more opportunities. There's something really wrong if this doesn't get him more opportunities.
Yeah, fair play. If you're a fan of either fighter tonight, who's come from sort of Devon or has come from West Wales, fair play on a Sunday to bring that kind of support. Let's get confirmation of it with Huss.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of boxing, we go to the referee scorecard. Referee Sean McAvoy scores the bout 59-55. And your winner, Tunde Duya.
Bit of a gap between them in the end, and I can totally and utterly understand that. It doesn't really bear testament to the questions that Josh Kagan asked or the amount that he gave tonight, but it did underline how much good work that we saw, impressive work that we saw from Diele.
Yeah, it's just the way boxing scored, isn't it? We were talking about it at the start of that 6th round, that he probably wouldn't get much love on the cards, and the reality of boxing scoring is that you can win a third of the round, you can win a third of every round, and you'll lose every round. You've won a third of the fight, but you've lost every round. That's just how it is. And in those 5 rounds that he lost, he probably did win a third of every one of those rounds. So he's in it, isn't he? But I don't think there was any mistake he was winning those rounds.
No, and I just showed Kagan as he left. As I saw an interaction with his team, and it was a kind of almost shrug of the shoulders. It was an understanding interaction. I don't think he has any complaints with that whatsoever. Sometimes when you've been in the heat of it and you put so much into it, you can feel like you're hard done by. I must admit, I'm really impressed with this guy tonight, Really, it's real subtlety about that performance, Andy.
Yeah, there's possibilities with him. You know, you hear good things about him, and he's moving fast because those are 2 proper opponents in his first 2 fights.
Let's see how he feels about it. He's speaking to Ali.
Valuable 6 rounds against an unbeaten opponent there. Fantastic level of boxing. Just sum up how you're feeling.
I feel very good. I just want to thank God for that victory. Without him, it wouldn't have been possible. And I'd just like to thank all my people, my family, my coach, Archie Dublin, Yowski. Thank you for all the support in this camp and all of that. And I'm just grateful for the victory.
A little bit more time to prepare for that one.
Yeah.
What did you want to showcase in there tonight? Because it did look like you were putting the pressure on, you were increasing it every round.
I just wanted to win, man. However way it came, I just wanted to win. And he was tough as nails, man, honestly. He gave me a good fight. I hurt him a couple times. I thought, you know, he was weakening and then he'd come back with some big shots, and it was good experience for me, you know. People ain't getting experience like that in their second fight. But, you know, we're doing it, man, and I'm just thankful for the victory.
That is 2 tough opponents in your first 2 fights.
Yeah.
What is the plan for the next one?
Johnny, it's always up to Johnny. Johnny, where's Johnny?
He was meant to come in, but I'm not sure where he's gone.
Wherever he is, it's up to him. But like I said, you know, I'm ready to just keep going and fighting whoever they put in front of me, and, you know, training hard and doing what I got to do.
You have to give the final word to the supporters in here tonight.
Like always, I love you guys so much for coming out, all the support you guys show me in this fight, during the camp, just in my life in general. I thank you guys, and I want to just say thank you to God again. And yeah, I'm glad. My son kept saying, you know, that this guy looks very mean and vicious. That's what he told me yesterday when we went to the weigh-in. He said he looks vicious and that. And you see what I've done? You happy with me? There we go.
Are you happy with that? Yes. Well done. Successfully moved to 2-0.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to finish the undercard now and then head over to the DAZN app. So move to there. We go live at 5 o'clock for the main card.